Just 5 races remain in Season 6 of the Area Cup Series regular season before the end of this regular season. And it's another 5 rounds of that playoff system before we crown a champion. That's a total of 10 remaining challenges in this Hunger Games-style last man standing format, but tonight may be the most fierce of all. Welcome to South Carolina, where the Southern hospitality reels you in and the racetrack spits you back out. It's the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. Welcome to Darlington. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna and Hunter Sleppy tonight for the 8th race of the regular season. And Finian, as things start to wind down here before we select our playoff competitors, they have to navigate a number of challenges, but this one, as I said, might be one of the hardest.
Oh, it definitely will be. We're in a stretch of difficult races. We just come off of Sonoma and North Wilkesboro, and North Wilkesboro has definitely claimed quite a few cars. You may want to call it even Dover for that effect. But now we head here to Darlington, and well, we've seen quite a bit of attrition. A very difficult track for these drivers. Of course, the track too tough to tame, Hunter. We'll see who's going to be coming out on top. He's got a large amount of cars here, 42 ready to take the green flag.
Yeah, the only driver that's been able to tame this track twice in the Cup Series has been Jake Nichols. Got to go back to Season 3, Season 4, and then last year Connor Horn was able to get the job done with a late race pass, but things are going to be different this time around. We got some new faces, as we've seen throughout the regular season, like Philip Groner currently sitting 3rd in practice, Landon Cardolo, Kwame Scott also back for another week, Tyler Gary as well, Jonathan Oates inside the top 10 for practice times, Kyle. A lot of interesting faces that can make their name known here at the Lady in Black.
Yeah, certainly. Here's a look at the practice times, as you pointed out here, Hunter. Jake Nichols right at the top, absolutely a favorite tonight. James Skyley, Philip Groner, Seth Knoll, Ryan Swan, all the top 5s are Toyotas. So the Kwame Scott in that number 36 Chevrolet, Finian, he has been a force to be reckoned with so far in the races that he's entered. Jake Matheson in that number 54, I think he'll do better than he is showing in practice as well. But this is such a challenging racetrack that requires a very steady hand on the wheel, but you also have to stay out of trouble. This has been a hot spot for that in the past.
Yeah, this is very much a track where you're more racing the track itself than to feel your fellow competitors. Of course, you got 41 other cars out there on the racetrack, and passing, I think, is definitely going to be coming at a premium should we get some long green flag runs. Not completely out of the question, especially in comparison to what we saw last week at North Wilkesboro. We could see some long green flag runs for these drivers. In that case, they're going to have to hunker down and watch those tires and just watch themselves and make sure they don't wear out the car itself, because it's so easy to hit the wall with the racing line the fastest way around here, right up against that wall.
Yeah, and usually this race we do see some cautions. We average about 5 every race, and the only time it went caution-free was back in Season 1. And also, interesting to note, only 2 drivers who had led the most laps of the race went on to win the Southern 500. That's Nate Trito back in Season 1 and Jake Nichols in Season 4. Last season, Connor Horn only led 11 laps, so it's all about making it to the finish, not about how you start.
Tonight is Throwback Night. Lots of paint schemes and liveries that are going to share with us the past of North American motorsport, specifically in stock car racing. And there are so many liveries, Finian, that are reminiscent of some of those that we grew up with, some of those that were just before our time, and some that were a little after, quite frankly. So we're going to get to look at most of these here this evening. We can't possibly get to them all here in the opening stages of this, but there is some really nice ones here in the field.
Yeah, it's always awesome when you get Throwback League, especially for a group of guys like here at Area, because they absolutely put in the work for their throwbacks. Almost every single one of them looks absolutely spectacular, and pretty much something you would see out on the track in real life. They put a lot of effort in. They look fantastic. We'll be covering them out as we go out throughout the night.
And of course, this is the Slinger Racing Graphics Southern 500, the 6th annual iteration of this race, and a whole bunch of liveries in this field are done by Slinger Racing Graphics. They do such a nice job gearing up these drivers for this throwback event, Hunter, and really, I guess this event doesn't have the same look and feel without graphics like Slinger Racing Graphics does. So excited to see the rest of the field this evening.
Yeah, they've got some pretty good paint schemes in this race to keep an eye on, not only for the Slinger Racing Graphic Esports team, but amongst other drivers that are racing tonight. Obviously, we saw Ryan Hartz. He's had that designed by Slinger Racing Graphics. Okrezik, Matthew Bell we saw. There's plenty more to go after, but we got to qualify these cars and see which one will be the fastest after 5 minutes.
Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat, and you can earn double channel points that you can use to redeem for free merchandise for just $5 a month. Join today, twitch.tv/Area iRacing. as we head down to the racetrack. Qualifying is going to get underway here in just a moment's time. And Finian, this is an important racetrack to start well at, just because of how dramatic things can turn here, especially with such a narrow racing line.
You very easily end up turned on its head for some of these drivers, depending on how they attack this, and especially for qualifying too, with that only one lap that they have to make a move. You hit that wall, you're going to be starting from the back, and again, I said passing is going to be coming at a premium. It's going to be hard to pass and make some moves, so you're going to want to get a semi-decent lap to get up on the board, but of course you want to have a quick lap to get up as high as possible, as you'll get a couple guys get around the track. And of course, last week's winner, Peyton Howell in the 52.
Yeah, Peyton Howell in that Sharpie throwback. Got to go back to, well, I know Junior ran that paint scheme, but I believe that's Kurt Busch with the Sharpie throwback scheme. Very nice livery there on that machine. And talking about qualifying, the average starting spot from the winner is around P14, so within the first 7 rows. Last year, Connor Horn started 26th, then won, but the deepest anyone's gone to the field to win, Jake Nichols back in Season 3, started 32nd and was able to get the lead late.
And you were right about that. That was Kurt Busch's 2004 Bristol paint scheme. Nick Silver's got his 2009 Carl Edwards Aflac car, one of my favorite paint schemes of the mid-2000s. Yes. Aflac, those commercials, and they were just prolific during that time, Finian, and were always a lot of fun to watch.
Always a huge amount of fun to watch. And Cameron Hearn out there, I think one of the few, almost can't help yourself with that one. Cameron Hearn is out there on the number 4 machine, hoping for some better luck to turn his season around. Looking at the number 1, Seth Knoll needs no introduction. Number 1 machine working around. The Burger King car. I'm trying to find where he is on the sheet to see which.
Steve Park, 1997 livery for the number 1. And Control F, Finian, that'll help you find him quick.
That would help, yes. I should know how to excel by now.
Well, it's every day of my life. Adam Cabot, we were looking at earlier, Finian. This was one that struck resonance with you.
Yes, this is an awesome one. 2006 Clint Boyer DirecTV paint scheme. I love this one. This is a really underrated paint scheme. I think not a lot of people turn their heads at, and just looks honestly awesome. Really well done on the 07 of Cabot's car. He comes across the line.
Look at this.
Best service in the 81. He's coming to the line now.
Yeah, anything that's a junior throwback already has a special key to my heart. Except this one though, because this is the one that he flipped over at in Daytona. So not really a memorable moment for that Hellman's throwback, but nonetheless, it's still a good throwback.
And Matthew Morton with a classic. Now, this is a cool one. This is the Bobby Labonte 2000 Winston Cup Championship car. One of the best of the interstate schemes, I have to say.
Yeah, the newer ones just never scratch the itch. I know the branding's changed for them, but I think the black, red, and green is just absolutely iconic.
And Scioli to the top. Go ahead, Hunter.
I'll say this one's probably my favorite. This is a Jimmy Spencer throwback, but with the way it looks, it blends together so perfect.
And Douglas Newbeging in his number 71 comes across the stripe. And I don't have him in my sheet, but this looks to me like Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, I would say I'm kind of feeling that. But
no, this is a real tree. This is a real tree throwback. I'm trying to remember the driver.
The font gives that away, I think.
Yeah.
Kwame Scott, I don't think this is a throwback.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you might be allowed to run.
Connor Horn of the 42. How about this?
Yeah, Connor Horn. That's a great looking paint scheme for him.
That's what it was. So that real tree throwback, that's 2002 Daytona 500 from Dave Marcus. It was his last Cup race.
Not the most memorable driver or paint scheme in the field, I have to be honest. Connor Horn's got a 2003 Jamie Murray Dodge Haviland scheme, and that looks fantastic. Justin Bondurant's just come across the stripe. What is this abomination?
You don't know about this? This is
a little before my time. Jimmy Johnson?
Jimmy Johnson ran this, and I think Kyle Busch ran a Patrick one as well. It was at Charlotte.
A little bit before my time, boys.
It was 2004. That wasn't exactly before your time. It was around your time.
Tony Stewart, this is I assume the last win scheme. Yeah, 2016 Sonoma. That was my time. I was paying attention back in those days. all of, man, 2016 was 8 years ago?
Yeah, I know, it's terrifying. I've been
Gosh.
seeing people like talk about that. I'm like, and everyone's just like,
Well-
oh yeah, 2016. Yeah, that was like 4 years ago. It's like, no, that's 8.
Well, let's bring
8
in
years ago.
Ricky Springer from Slinger Racing Graphics to talk a little bit about the paint schemes that are happening tonight, what Slinger Racing Graphics has up its sleeves. Ricky, we just got a great look at some of the schemes that are being used tonight, and there is some spectacular ones. Take us through what Slinger Racing Graphics has done for this event.
Absolutely. A lot of great schemes, and I let the guys, especially on my team and of course on Solid Rock Performance, kind of choose what they wanted to do, kind of what fit them the best. Ryan Hartz went with an awesome Dale Earnhardt throwback scheme. I mean, you know, it's kind of what he does every season. He went with the Wheaties car. Jake Matheson, classic Johnny Bravo Cartoon Network scheme. So a whole lot of great stuff going on, but big thanks to Jacob Bell for letting Slinger Racing Graphics come on board for the whole throwback week and really show off what not only I do on the graphic design side, but also what all these other great teams do to make their cars really stand out on track.
And tonight, your number 51's got some significant value to it as well to you. Personal story, some sentimental value. Take us through what that 51 car is all about tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. To a lot of people, it probably isn't even a car that rings a bell. When I was younger in my life, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, eosinophilic colitis, and through my real-life racing, I started a racing charity called Racing for a Cause. What that charity did was, it was a nonprofit organization that just raised money to educate doctors about the disorder that I had because it was misdiagnosed most of the time. In that process, we had a great opportunity to work with a bunch of real-life race car drivers that ran the logos. The car I'm showing off tonight is from 2011. It was when Racing for a Cause was on the hood of Jeremy Clement's NASCAR Nationwide Series car at Atlanta Motor Speedway. If you get the chance to zoom in on it, it's pictures from the weekend on the background of the car. So pictures of me, the race car, everybody involved with AtFit and Racing for a Cause.
Well, Ricky, great story there. Thanks so much for sharing that, and thanks for being a part of it tonight. The Slinger Racing Graphics Southern 500. Excited to have you on board, and good luck tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And we'll get another look at that 51 here in a couple moments' time as we head down to the racetrack in just a few minutes. But this is a long race tonight, guys. The longest Cup Series race of the season, Finian, 200 laps. And a lot of trouble can happen in 200 laps. How do you keep your head in the right mindset tonight?
I think the best way to do that is just to think about this like an endurance race. Essentially, it is with the link, like you said, the longest race on the calendar for these drivers. So it's just a matter of just getting in the headspace of you have a long way to go. Focus on just trying to hit your marks, hit your corners, not necessarily on passing, not necessarily on pushing your way to the front, but just kind of getting into a rhythm early on and just letting the car come to you.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. 200 laps, 272 miles, and like I said earlier, it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish, and that's because we have tons of drivers that are starting at the back with EOLs, and then 4 specifically with drive-thrus. Bondurant in the 9, Travis Speckner in the 28, Blaze McKinney in the 87, and the 57, I believe that is Emerson Arden?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And
Those are the main ones.
Sunset, sorry, Hunter. Look at that. You can, I mean, what a beautiful place here in South Carolina, even in the virtual world. And yeah, you mentioned 4 drive-thrus, the 9, the 28, 57, the 87, and a suspension being served for the number 30 at Jeremy Miller, Hunter. So as you pointed out, a lot of troublemakers from last week at Northwest.
Yeah, not to mention there's, I believe that's 13 or 14 drivers fitting that have EOLs, so almost a third of this field going to be starting at the back.
Yeah, third of them. That's just the EOLs. There's 4 other drive-thrus as well. So a lot of naughty boys coming out of North Wilkesboro. So the field's going to get shuffled up from what it was qualifying already. And so it's going to be a long night for some of these drivers, especially the ones with the drive-thrus. I think that's going to really be a bit tough. Going to already set them on the back foot. They're going to have to hope for an early yellow to get back on this thing.
So point situation heading into this evening. Seth Knoll, 4 wins, leads the championship standings by 22 points, but that's of no mind because when the playoffs begin, he will easily be seated at the top of the table. And a number of wins going all the way back to Jake Matheson, who's 13th in points, and that's a driver that I think could really afford to string some better finishes together here to wrap up his regular season. It's really been hot or cold for Matheson so far, Finian. His finishes range from 38th to 1st, and a lot of 18ths and 25ths and top 10s in between those. So just it's hit or complete miss for the 54 so far.
Yeah, I think he's also a little bit down in points. He has missed one event. I think it was at Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken, he sat out for. So he's down on the points in that respect from there. But I think as long, and Hunter, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, if he remains in the top 20, he should be good with that one win to lock himself in. So I think he's just been kind of in a little bit of a cruise mode. Just kind of feeling out, maybe going a little bit more risky on the strategy until they hit the postseason and he really starts to, has to hunker down and focus.
There it is. There better be a Tide scheme and a Sharpie scheme in tonight's field.
Got
and
one.
They better recreate that throwback finish. Well, we do have one. And I haven't seen the Tide ride yet, but has anyone done that?
I didn't see it in the dock. I tried searching Tide.
No, and Daryl, that didn't do it. Oh, man, we're going to miss out. Commentator standings, by the way. Finian, you're leading. I'm second, and Hunter is third. That will make us pick in the reverse order here in just a moment's time, but let's get through our starting lineup here in just a moment. And of course, our starting lineup is brought to you by Central Mobile Homes. If you're looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 28 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clues, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com to get started today. All right, let's roll through the starting Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. On the front row, it's James Scioli in that number 7, Jimmy Spencer throwback, rolling off alongside Tyler Gary in that number 62, Finian.
Yeah, rolling off in roll number 2. It's going to be Jonathan Oates in the number 45. He's been really quick in the last couple of weeks. See if he can do anything from third. Next to Michael Curran in the 24 car, lined up at 4th.
And of course, the Jeff Gordon paint scheme on that car. Jake Nichols rolls off in position number 5 alongside Kwame Scott in the number 36. And then it's going to be Jake Matheson and Seth Knoll, Finian, in that 4th row. Who's starting row 5?
Moving back to row number 5, it's going to be Connor Horn in the number 42. Of course, he's going to be dropping to the back as well as quite a few others. Reinhardt, so he will hold on to his 10th place starting spot in 3rd.
11th place is Cameron Hearn in the number 4. Justin Bondurant rolls off in 12th place. That is that Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch throwback rolling off on the outside of row 6.
Moving on back to row 13 plate, it's going to be Seth 64 of Ed Robertson. Next to him, it's going to be David Weishart, 33 car lineup in 14th.
Hayden Howell, last week's winner, 15th place in that Sharpie car. He'd love a Tide ride to go up against here in the closing moments of this one. Matthew Bell starts 8th in the number, 16th in the number 8 car.
Moving on back, we find Philip Groner. He's lined up in the number 11 number 11 car, and I think it's a
DHL. You got it.
Is it DHL?
No, not DHL.
It is.
DHL.
DLP.
That's
DLP,
right.
yeah, I was going to say. DHL's a shipping company.
And it's
We
yellow.
got Adam Cabot next to him in the 07, the 18 car in the DirecTV paint scheme.
Landon Cardillo rolls off. Ooh, there you go. 19th in what was a Cheerios car, probably hamburger helper, something of the sort. Dom DeLeo rolls off 20th in the number 22 Cat throwback.
And back in 21st, it's going to be Greg Mitchell, the number 2. Got Miller Lite on the side of that car. Next to him, Eversher Jr. in the 17, the Best Buy machine in 22nd.
And 23rd place, Bailey Turner in instead of Vickers throwback. Man, I can't keep up with them all. And then alongside him, Ricky Springer. We already got the story. He rolls off 24th.
Back in 25th, it's going to be Tyler Nichols. Line up in the 41. Next to him, or what would be next to him, is Max Service in the 81, but he's going to be dropping to the back.
And starting in 27th, it's Blaze McKinney in the number 87 machine. And Reese Schaefer rolls off in 28th in the number 97.
Back at 29th, Seth Berger's lined up in the 77. Next to him, Nick Silver, or he's going to be dropping to the back in the number 99. The Affleck machine's going to be starting in the back from 30th.
And conveniently, a silver car. Troy Eitzen starts 31st in the number 78 machine. Look at that. That looks great. Brett Punkari rolls off 32nd in the 35 car.
Doug Newbegin going to be lined up in the 71, rolling off 33rd. Next to him, Ryan Swan, lined up in the 20 car in 34th.
And 35th place, it will be Garrett Grant in the number 5 area.shop car. And Drew Jua rolls off alongside him, 36 in the number 13 Meals on Wheels Camaro.
And we're going on to Matthew Morin, lined up in the 18 car, 37th in the Interstate Batteries throwback. And next to him in the number 70 is Andrew Payne in 38th.
And the last couple of rows here, 39th, Travis Beckner in the number 28. And we got to get an update on who this is for. This is a 2007 Derek Cope
That's Kenny.
Border
Is
Patrol
it?
nationwide car. That's what it says.
Huh. I thought it was Kenny Wallace.
Sometimes these guys dig deep. I
They
swear.
really do. Some people get some
Derek
really
Cope from
obscure ones.
2007. And then he was starting alongside Connor Okrezik. Then it's Jackson Anderson starting in 41st place. Mason Kane 42nd, and Emerson Arden in 43rd. That's your starting lineup, presented by Central Mobile Homes. And the field racked up, stacked up, and lights are out on the pace truck. Take your pick, Hunter. Who you got winning this thing?
Give me that 73 Jake Nichols.
Oh, man. I'm going to roll with, might be a risk, the 54, Jake Matheson. I think he gets his second win of the night, Finian, of the
I'm
season.
going with Michael Curran in the 24. The Jeff Gordon throwback, I gotta have to go for it. I'm a sucker for it.
All right, pace truck is off. Longest race of the season. 1 hour, 36 minutes without any yellows. We'll surely have some at the track. Too tough to tame. James Skiley is elected for the outside lane for the start of this race. Round 8 of the Area Cup Series. The Slinger Racing Graphics Southern 500 is underway for racing at the Lady in Black. Scioli leads out of turn 4, lap 1 complete. Clears Tyler Gary, but it took some effort to get there, Finian.
Yeah, it's an issue actually. Tyler Gary got a black flag, and that was because he was ahead of the number 7 car at the start-finish line. Actually, not even at the start-finish line, at the drop of the green flag. So he's going to have to come in. He just has race control, and they're saying, yep, you got to come down and serve it. So he's going to be dropping right now, actually, down to pit lane.
It's unfortunate, but very fortunate that it's early in the race and not when it matters most with like 10 to go. So he's going to come down pit road, serve that pass-through penalty. Meanwhile, Jonathan Oates is the big winner, and that moves up to 2nd on the leaderboard.
One of the hardest pit lanes to get into here at Darlington. We went to Dover a couple of weeks ago where pit lane was already hard enough to get to. Darlington some days feels even harder because of how far to the inside the entrance is. There's the 90, who's that coming out of pit lane there? That's
28
Blaze.
Travis Beckner, as well as a bunch of other drivers, because those are the ones that had to serve the drive-through penalty, so they're already a lap down. So they were really going to kind of have to hope for a caution or something to get them back in the right line. But Beckner's out there 39th in the running order.
Mason Kane appears to be off the track as well. I'm not sure if he had an early incident.
Yeah, I don't know. He is off the track, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Skiley's going to put Tyler Gary a lap down. And if Gary can hang out here, this wouldn't be a bad spot to get maybe a free pass. We also have an interesting look inside race control tonight. This is Eric Weiland's perspective as he follows drivers around looking for the naughty business, Finian, and you don't want to get on this screen a whole lot tonight, do you?
No, you really don't. And he's kind of watching from the sidelines, checking everything out. If anything, if he wants, he could be the picture-picture guy we always kind of wanted to give us those extra views.
I think that is pretty neat. That's a little behind the scenes in how that goes. I'm not sure how it went, but it's a good perspective from Eric Weiland as Payne Howell, last week's winner from North Wilkesboro, looks to complete the pass on Greg Mitchell.
And he's carrying so much momentum in with that win. You could tell last week he was absolutely stoked. He'd been running pretty well, and he's doing well in the points. But to win that race, I think really, even despite the challenges of that race week, really showed the potential that he's got in this number 52. So off to a pretty good start here, up a spot from where he began, and just chasing down Matthew Bell just ahead of him. And they're a little side-by-side just ahead. David Weishart, and that's the 11 of Groner on the inside of the DLP Toyota. This is the car I was thinking of, Finian, by the way, when I was mentioning the 07 earlier. This is what I was thinking.
Yes. Did he run that paint scheme?
No, but this is what I was thinking of. What the car I was thinking of was this one.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is an iconic paint scheme. Didn't run particularly well, but it's a fantastic looking car. And it's Cameron Hearn. He hit the wall on the back straightaway. He's dropping a couple of spots. For Cameron Hearn, I think he's just going to have to hope and just pray for a good night. He's had some run luck this season, and I think he just wants to finish a race in a semi-decent finishing position.
Had a weekend to refocus with some of the boys down in Daytona, among those being Ryan Swan in the 20. I know he's in the field tonight, looking to have a solid run. He's not too far behind. Connor Okrezik looking to complete the pass on Seth Berger, and he will, coming out too.
Look at where he started, P40, but man, all the drivers that had EOLs that ended up behind him helped him move up into 24th this quickly. Putting off laps fairly fast here, and there's lots of battles happening around the racetrack, but they're so close nose to tail.
Check the lead for James Scioli. He's actually stuck in behind 2 lap cars, and that's Emerson Ard in the 57 and Tyler Gary, who just came back out on the track. He got held up a little bit. It was a chance for Jonathan Oates and Michael Curran to close the gap a little bit. Now they're all navigating around the 57 through turn 3.
Yeah, lap traffic's going to be a big factor, and you're seeing it right now with how it slowed down the front two. Michael Curran trying to keep third from Kwame Scott. It's really tough when it's a one-lane racetrack, Colin, especially when the groove you want to be in is on that outside lane.
Yeah, turns 1 and 2 in particular, you really want to ride this rim. There's one very fast line. Everything else is suboptimal. So if you get put off that line, it's a bad time. I don't think it's as lane sensitive in 3 and 4. You can kind of experiment, especially with the exit there. But because of how much faster turns 1 and 2 are, it really increases the possibility for disaster on corner exit as the 3 and 33 go side by side.
Yeah, Pujakar's getting great runs off at turn 4. Weiser trying to make the move on Hartz, couldn't do it. That opened up the door. Adam Cabot taking the opportunity, as well as up ahead. Whoa! Martin in the wall as cars are still trying to get around him.
Yeah, that's really tough when you're a lap car as well, and in this situation where you want to stay as far away from the lead lappers as much as possible, but at Darlington you really have nowhere to go, especially with how tight of a racetrack this is through 1 and 2. He clipped the wall there, and Greg Mitchell closing in on this.
Let me tell you from experience that you can go 150 laps without hitting the wall. The second that you do, you're going to hit it the next 15 times. It's one of those things that you can get it right for so long, but once you hit it the first time, you're going to hit it.
3 wide, there's a 25, a Bailey Turner making the move, 3 wide again with Dom DeLeo, almost working to the outside, had to back out of it, and look at Bailey Turner still riding below the white line. The ideal line is above it, and had to ride below it just to keep the car off of his competitors. Will lose the spot though as he lost some momentum off the corner, drops back to 18th.
Yeah, his 25 throwback's actually a throwback to Joe Nemechek when he ran it in 2003. Although the first thing I think of is Jerry Nadeau when he ran that 25. And the first Nemechek I think of, paint scheme-wise, is the one Seth Knowles running in the Burger King car.
You know, it's so interesting to me when drivers pick their throwbacks. Some are immediately recognizable, and some you're like, didn't like 5 different people drive that car? Ooh, 22 had a big lunge there on the 57 just to clear him. The Ricky Springer bobble there a little bit. And that's going to be tough for Arden out of turn 2, and he's going to be in the wall, I think. Again, he just gets squeezed up there. There's really nowhere to go.
And look at the bottleneck it caused him behind. Everyone checking up to avoid it and also take advantage of the situation, make some moves. There's Travis Beckner getting past another lap car. Just trying to be the highest car a lap down. Tyler Gary, he's been able to separate from the leaders, so he will be good. Should have cautioned him out. Travis Beckner's hoping that he stays ahead of the leaders. He's in the lucky dog position.
On board with a Prezak, who's going to close in on this battle right here. He's got Tyler Nichols in front of him. He just completed a pass on the 70, Trey Eitzen. Yeah, I wanted to say Truex. That's how clean the throwback is.
Yeah, especially fits in the case of the 14 and 78 where the number matches perfectly.
But not even that, it's everything on the side and even the hood as well.
Yeah, nicely executed. Max Anderson scraping the wall there at turn 2. Things have calmed down back here for a little while as I say that.
Off goes Tyler Nichols making a move, so it's just working around the lap car of Arden, who's been slowly trickling on back, and he's been doing the best he can to stay out of everyone's way. Bump from behind from the present.
Yeah, he's got places to go, people to see. It's only lap 17. Nothing major yet, but as the run goes on, the tires are going to wear, and we're going to see some more slipping and sliding.
Yeah, you know what? I was just about to make the point that we're seeing cars spread out quite a bit. And this is one of those races that has the potential to go very green. What was it, 5 yellows in last season's Southern 500 Finian? That's not a lot. We did how many last week? Triple that? So
too many.
Yeah, so it's, you know, the numbers are going to favor this being a pretty... I'm going to jinx us the second I say this.
You're reading too far ahead in the script, Kyle. Gotta wind it back a bit.
Yeah. It's called storytelling. You got to paint the picture before it happens.
Anyway, there's Jake Matheson. I don't think we mentioned what Matheson is running tonight, but it is
I don't think we have either.
A 2005 Kyle Busch Kellogg's Johnny Bravo car.
You should know this. Come on.
Well, so my Kyle Busch fandom started kind of mid-2006. So I think I was really only at the tail end of the Hendrick years.
Look at this game right here, mama.
I just would like to say
That was a
that
good
I
impression.
liked him before he was good, and everyone else is a bandwagon.
What about now?
Well, now I don't watch NASCAR anymore, really, so. Not because I don't want to, it's because I just am not usually home on the weekends. I work in racing. But cars head down the front straightaway. There's Andrew Payne, Ed Robertson. This is the battle back here for 35th. Some of the last drivers on the lead lap fighting just as fiercely for these as they would be for the top 5.
Yeah, everyone's taking advantage of how close the field is. Pretty relatively. Everyone's spread across 10 seconds, which is not too bad considering a track like Darlington where everyone's mostly single file. And a battle I want to look at up ahead. Jake Nichols in the 73, he's trying to make a move on Kwame Scott, battle for 4th.
We're already noticing here the lap times starting to get a little bit slower, about 7 to 8 tenths of a second difference between the leaders. Scioli, his best was a 28.9, his last one was a 29.6.
Tom DeLeo pops out of line here on Greg Mitchell. Mitchell's slow into turn 3, and Bailey Turner's going to drive up underneath him. Side by side there. Jake Nichols, by the way, 2000 Kevin LePage, FamilyClick.com Ford Taurus is his throwback tonight.
Yeah, that's really one, again, in the camp of what made you think of it?
Yeah. Had to go to jski.com and pull up the archives for that one.
Seriously.
Ooh, little wiggle out of 2. Here's Ricky Springer right into the midst of this, and Matthew Morton going to give it a shot to the back of Bailey Turner.
Yeah, actually, Matthew Morton got a shot from behind from Everett Sherry Jr., so he was kind of in the middle of a train. We always say, don't push the pusher. Usually at Daytona and Talladega, not necessarily at an intermediate, because, whoa, the 18 and the 25 get a little bit loose, but the 18 makes the move. Morton to the inside of Turner heading into turn 1.
And always tricky to battle side by side through 1 and 2, especially look at how tight they're racing. It's going to be real tight on corner exit. Turner having to back out and nearly go on the wall, but he's going to lose a couple positions from that.
Look at this mess back here. Side by side into 3 now. You saw the 25 drive down onto the flat. Actually, it was the 18 that drove down onto the flat in 1 and 2. And that's a committing maneuver, Vinny. When you hit that flat, the thing just shoots up the hill. So you got to be ready to catch it on the banking.
You really do, and these guys are really making on the net code cooperating, considering how close they're leading on each other's fenders. Of course, everything working out so far. Everett Sherry Jr. just getting past 25 and Turner. He goes up to 19.
Watch this. Talk about committal. Watch 17 drive off in here.
Saja.
Here's a little known fact. Whoa, the 18 almost gets into the 2. Little known fact about the design of Darlington Raceway. No, I'm not going to talk about it being egg-shaped. Everybody knows that. I learned, not all that long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, that the area of the racetrack that we're running on today was actually designed to be the runoff. The racetrack was designed to be everything below the white dotted line, and the higher banked area was going to be extra runoff for safety, so you wouldn't have to be right up against the wall. But they didn't outlaw driving up there like NASCAR typically doesn't outlaw, and they soon figured out that it was a little quicker up there, and that's why the track is so narrow. It wasn't really designed to be the racing surface.
I'm really glad they didn't ever ruled against that. It would have been a very boring racetrack if you couldn't use the higher banking.
Imagine racing at Daytona.
Jackson Anderson sideways out of turn 2. I think he'll just be able to save it. Make contact with Travis Beckner. Went for a wild ride down the back straightaway.
He's up underneath Beckner out of 2. He just pushes up into the 28.
Oh,
man.
Great job saving that. He made that look easy.
Yeah, great car control from the 83. And Kyle, I was literally about to say it, and then you took it right out of my mouth.
What's that?
The way that the cars ran back in the day. I was gonna say they really ran back. They really threw it back if you're running on the apron. That's like 50s, 60s, and then I think the 70s they navigated their way towards the lanes that we're in right now.
I think they probably handled poorly enough that you would use the bottom if you had the opportunity to.
That would be funny to kind of have just like a for one race, just outlaw the upper side of the track. Really do a throwback.
They should add a configuration where the upper area is a cut course.
They should, actually. Yeah, that's a good idea.
This is a little battle here.
Listening.
Oh, Eitzen down the inside of the 41 and Nichols. Jujua's back here. All this is heating up. So is the battle for third place. Kwame Scott squeezes by Curhan, and Jake Nichols is going to heat this group up as well.
Yeah, talk about using the apron. Kwame Scott took a great advantage out of a big run off turn 4. Used it down the front straightaway through the car in 1 and made it stick, so he's up to 3rd, Curran back to 4th, and then Jake Nichols still not out of it. They're all in a little bit of a trio battle for 3rd place.
Excellence throughout the first 30 laps of this race. Some good side-by-side action all throughout the field, and even the battle for the lead really heating up. Jonathan Oates closing in all over that bumper of Scioli.
He's found some pace, hasn't he? He is just hounding back at Scioli. They've been effectively matching lap times the last 5 or 6 laps. And things are heating up for 3rd on back, too, with that trio that we documented earlier. And then it is very exciting behind Greg Mitchell right now. There is a lot of cars packed up in this mixture, Finley.
Yeah, essentially kind of become a cork in the bottle. Not exactly sure why. We saw the 22 DeLeo pass him earlier on. DeLeo's moved to 13, so Mitchell, I'm not sure if he's just dropping back. He's trying to save his tires a little bit and kind of save the pace, but it's not looking particularly good for him. And that's actually one thing we should start to talk about. If you look at the pace with these drivers, they're running about a second slower than they were from the start of the race, and we're only 30 laps in, so there's a pretty decent amount of fall off.
Yeah, Scioli mentioned earlier his fastest lap, 28.9. His last lap, a 30.1, over a second entire fall off. And I'm not sure when we're going to see green flag pit stops, but it's all about how, well, for most of the guys, it's all about how long you can go on those tires before you just lose patience and you're like, okay, I can't take it anymore. I got to come down and get some fresh rubber.
Well, the way that they're racing from 21st on back, we might get a yellow flag before too long. Just too close running. I don't know how long they can keep this up out of turn 2. Travis Beckner is on the inside, trying to get back up to be the lead car in the lap down area. Ryan Swan is on pit lane, guys.
Yeah, not sure. I was about to say that he was one of the higher ranking cars, and then now Ryan Swan is down at pit lane. Not sure why.
Might be a scheduled stop.
He's getting service to his car. I don't know if he's still sitting down at pit lane, so I'm not sure what happened to this one.
That could be right side damage. Like I said, the second you hit it, that looks like there is some damage. No, maybe not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has any, so I'm not sure if he had to step away from the computer or what's going on. We'll try to give you an update on that when we can. Meanwhile, looking at the 3 and the 25 doing battle.
And Ryan Hart's on the outside, Bailey Turner on the inside, and Ryan Hart's throwback to the Wheaties paint scheme from Dale Sr. back in the day. Although there's plenty of good Dale Sr. throwback schemes you can throw back to. I'm not sure if you can choose a specific one and go, this one's the best one.
McCresick, big run off the corner, makes a move on the 25 for a second off into turn 3. As the 25 and the 3 were preoccupied, so McCresick trying to take advantage, but stuck on the bottom lane. Here comes Connor Horn, squeezing his car to the outside.
Yeah, this is going to be really exciting for the next couple of minutes here, Hunter, as this group battles amongst themselves. Tires are wearing out. You're going to get that comers and goers effect. Who is using up the rubber as the 14 and 87 almost come together there.
I almost wanted to say the 8 because of Blaze McKinney's throwback to Dale Jr.'s All-Stars, or MLB All-Star scheme from 01. And got 3 wide in the back, and we're racing on the apron. Can make it work at 3 and 4, but 1 and 2, I wouldn't recommend.
Gosh, this is a mess.
Yeah, the turret is just so tight. It's really hard to keep the car down there on that part of the racetrack. Reshape for doing the best he can to keep it buried down there, and he'll hold off his position for now. But yeah, everyone's checking up in behind the 25 and the 42. It's kind of spreading out a little bit more now that Greg Mitchell's falling back. Drew Joe up there in the mix side by side with the 87 of Blaze McKinney, who was a lap down. And he's actually currently the leading lap down car as he works to the outside of Ryan Hart's wall.
And Ryan Hartz would just like to finish a race, wouldn't he? He has had terrible luck with his internet so far this year.
Pressing on the wall and sideways. He will save it, but this is not looking particularly good back here. They're racing really hard. The 3 goes in front of Cardullo. He has to back off, and that causes another checkup.
If there's going to be a caution, it's going to be coming out of turn 2 with this group because Hartz is in the wall. Cardullo bouncing off again. They're Darlington striping. And Greg Mitchell, but we've seen how the turn is.
Greg Mitchell in the wall. The 19 goes around, the 5's in it, and the 83 piles in there. and obliterates the two of Mitchell. Caution out for the first time tonight, lap 38. Wow.
Don't forget everything I said about turn 2 being the cause of the caution. It was turn 4 where the first caution would happen.
I think the 87 would get the free pass, but was he involved in that incident? No, I don't think so, but here's a look at it again. 2-car drives up underneath. 3 in the wall, the 19's at the wall. They could have come off the fence here, I think. 3 and 2 get together, and that's what starts the whole thing.
You're going to try to get around and end up flipping 19, who got hit again after that. 83 coming flying in.
Man, Max Anderson came in hot. Oh, he didn't get the memo quick enough, did he? Oh gosh, just piled in there. Oof. Shared fault for that incident on first glance. And caution's out, and we're going to see everybody on pit lane every time you can. Finney, you're taking tires tonight, I would think.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a decent enough amount of fall if I think you want to come down for tires when you get the opportunity, especially after a nearly 40-lap run. So everyone down on the pit lane, nice and tidy. Getting service to their machines. Question is anyone dare try 2 tires? I kind of doubt it, but I've seen some crazy things in the past.
Well, here's the behind the scenes of Eric Weiland. They're looking to determine who's going to get penalty points, EOLs, all that matter, and this is a behind-the-scenes look at it as I believe Jonathan Oates won the battle off pit road.
He sure did. So the 45, by virtue of a half-second quicker pit stop and a half-second better overall in the pit lane, because that quicker stop is going to lead the 7 of Scioli out of pit lane. And Max Service and Landon Cardillo did not pit, but they will this time.
Also want to point out, it's funny that Eric finally had the the radar up. Glad to see it's all clear from Darlington. No chance
there is
of rain.
a storm brewing, let me tell you, but it's not in the form of rain clouds.
Hey, that's what I use.
You use this program?
Yeah, iRacing control, yeah.
Looks like a washing machine.
That's because they mostly have I think the maps for the road courses, not really the ovals.
Cleaning the sins of all the drivers. But it's washing.
This is the software I use for SRO, the eSports GR86
Toyota Gazoo Racing. I learned recently that it's pronounced Gazoo, not Gazoo.
Is it really?
Yep.
I feel like everyone says Gazoo, even the commentators.
Yeah, I think even Toyota North America calls it Gazoo. But recently, Jason Camisa, if you guys are not, I'm shilling for Haggerty here, but if you're not subscribed to the Haggerty YouTube channel, Jason Camisa's Icons and Revelations series on famous cars is unbelievable, and you should go subscribe to them. But he just recently did one on the Lexus LFA and talked about how the car was a commercial failure, but it spawned what became Toyota Gazoo Racing, and I trust his pronunciation and Haggerty because they do their research.
Oh, I didn't realize that they were involved in the LFA program.
Well, so this is little nerdy Toyota stuff here. So the LFA was Toyota's attempt to basically build a car without compromise. They were basically told, whatever resources you need, use it. So every car that they sold was at a loss because they spent so much on development. But in the process of developing the car and getting Akio Toyota interested in greenlighting it, Akio raced at the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring in a Lexus, and he was about to become the CEO of Toyota, and so he would never have gotten put in that position if he was doing high-risk activities like racing. So he created a fake name, Morizo, but that he raced under, and he raced under Toyota Gazoo Race, or it was Gazoo Works, Gazoo Racing at the time, which was effectively meant Works team, I guess. Mm-hmm. Or no, in the image of is what it meant. So in the image of Toyota. And so that race team was created as part of Akio's launch into Toyota, which he was very passionate about racing. They developed the LFA, and then when they eventually changed their line of Toyota products from TRD to Gazoo Racing, that's where that came from.
There you go.
So that's the reason why the GR Corolla and GR86 exist. Anyway, get that out of the way. Go watch the Icons episode on the LFA. You will not regret it. Jonathan Oates is your leader. Let's go back to the restart. Lap 43. We're underway from Darlington.
Wow, I think someone needs to set the alarm clock for James Scioli because he was sleeping on that restart. He got absolutely destroyed by Oates, and Nichols drops back to third. And now he's going to be defending his teammate Seth Noel, who's trying to work on the outside, but Kwame Scott putting up a fight on the inside, battle for fourth.
Trying to make the most out of their new tires and the early goings of this restart. Jonathan Oates, 3 car lengths of an advantage over Jake Nichols. Currently going to try and close the gap. Meanwhile, just in front of him, Matheson inside the top 5, getting the strong run off 4.
And we're going to go 3 wide down the front straightaway, and that's the 8 of Matthew Bell in the middle. And ooh, he checked up big time with the 17 on the bottom. They're all just trying to coexist right now on the racetrack, Fitting. That's hard to do here.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate thing is everyone wants to coexist near the front, and everyone's pushing hard, especially on these restarts, to get to the top. But of course, they're going to end up losing spots, especially when they make 2 aggressive moves like that. 3 wide, this can't really work around here as they go. And there is Tyler Gary in the middle of that, in that bright pink car, trying to work his way to the front after starting in second, but that starting mistake, look at that, having to drop to the back, come in for green flag, run down to pit lane. And now back out there on the lead lap, 23rd.
Right in the middle of this. Spin! Travis Beckner!
And the 28 is in the wall in a big way. We're going to stay green because it was below the apron. That car is junk.
They had a side swipe with, I think, the 87 of Blaze McKinney right there. Having contact with Payne, and then Pukari kind of sent him flying last hit there.
And that is going to be pretty torn up 28 car, I think. Oh, it's still running, but for how long?
Very angry. you can tell. Normally he's smiling when we go to him, but he was a very angry driver.
Here comes Jake Nichols in the 73 on Jonathan Oates. He wants the top spot from the 45.
Yeah, it was a great start for the 45, but not been able to completely drive it from the 73. That being said, he's able to defend, keep him at bay. I think he's trying to see if he can just keep that high line going. It'll make it harder and harder for the 73 Nichols to make a move.
Yeah, always going to be tough trying to make the pass going into turn 1. That outside lane is the lane you want to be in. You don't want to wash up on the inside lane, so that's why Nichols had to back off and just going to ride the coattails of Jonathan Oates for the moment. Meanwhile, Scioli not too far behind in 3rd, watching this battle and go on.
Yeah, Beckner's last lap was a 30.0, so that is about 0.8 of a second off what the leaders are running. So maybe there's a way to fix this car, but it's just not going to run like it did earlier.
Big thing to mention as well is that Beckner is still allowed down as well as Jackson Anderson. He didn't get the free pass. I believe it went to Blaze McKinney last for the caution, so he's still a lap down. He's the 2nd car lap down at the moment, so the night not looking good for Beckner at the moment. Meanwhile, battle for position, Dom DeLeo on the inside, Drew on the outside, heading turn 1. The 13 will actually back off and give the spot to the 22.
Meanwhile, the battle for the lead still heating up. Nichols all over the bumper of Jonathan Oates, still trying to see if he can force him into an error, but with that way the 45's been running, he's been pretty good so far, but Nichols going to try and get a strong run here off 4.
And Oates feels the pressure, moves to the center of the racetrack, but Nichols isn't going to just fire it in there. He knows he's quicker. He's going to take his time, but you don't want to burn up your stuff in trail here, Finian. We're actually a quarter of the way through this race next time by, with only 1 yellow down. So, you've got time, but you can't sit back here and burn up your tires in the wake of this lead car for too long.
No, he's going to want to try to get past. I think maybe the best thing he can do is try to force the 45 to push this equipment a little too far for his liking. And there he goes, gets a great run off of turn 4. Going to slide out the 45 down the front straightaway. Will he throw it into 1? He will try. I don't think he'll be able to clear him, though, and he'll go side by side. And I think the 45 Oates is going to have to back off.
Yeah, he washed up a little bit in turn 1, and that's all it took for Jake Nichols to take over as the new race leader. But Oates didn't trail too far. Here he comes in the 3. Not going to get good enough run to the inside.
No, it's going to drag Scioli right back into the mix, though, so don't count that 7 car out. Led a bunch of laps early in this race. Single file line out of turn 4. Things have, dare I say, calmed down a little bit.
No, why would you?
Tis early.
Lost the quarter of the way mark, Kyle.
See a car flipping like we did at Daytona.
I mean, it's just a game, right, guys? It's just the game. Why do you have to be mad?
Oh, Cameron Hearn making a move, an aggressive move to the outside of 51 of Ricky Springer. One driver just once again have a good finish, the 4, and as he goes up one more spot, Bailey Turner will try to take the opportunity to make a move. Oh, he's in the wall though.
Yeah, that was a tight battle through the middle of 1 and 2 there. Bailey Turner still on the bumper. Ricky Springer might have a run heading into 3. He's going to keep it tucked in. Going to try and use that outside lane to get a run.
So watch Ricky push up here. It's going to open the door for Turner on the exit of the corner, but he wasn't able to carry that momentum. The 51 got a better launch down the front straightaway, so he'll stay in tow for now. Keep an eye on the weather as well. Track temp continues to drop here. Ambient's about 76 degrees Fahrenheit. So the track is going to grip up. It's going to gain some rubber throughout the night, and that should make things a little bit grippier online and maybe more treacherous offline. As Tyler Gary heats up Matthew Bell for 18th. This is a nice recovery for the 62. That caution came at the right time for him.
Really did. He needed an early caution to kind of reset things. Didn't really want it to continue to go green as it did, but now finally back on pace with everyone else. Probably can use another caution or two to kind of work his way up. He's got to really put in some hard work. That being said, all the cars in these pass are pretty much dead nose to tail. He's got to pick them off one by one. He's got a tough cookie to crack ahead of him, though. It's last season's winner of this race, Connor Horn, in 42.
Tough cookie to crack? Isn't it a tough nut to crack?
Tough nut to crack. I mean, hey, you can crack
If you're
cookies
cracking your
open.
cookies, you've overbaked them.
Some people like a hard cookie.
Oh, wow. Squeeze there between Morton and Cameron Hearn. Hearn's going to cross him over and drive underneath him into turn 1. Can't keep the overlap, though.
Cameron Hearn's feeling racy tonight. He feels like he's got a good car in the number 4 machine. It's a matter of can he make the moves to get up there. Looks like he's a little bit quicker than 18. Just nowhere to quite go at the moment. Meanwhile, up ahead, James Kelly catching the back of Jonathan Oates in the number 45. Battle for second start to group in GD2.
All over the bumper there of the 45 of Oates, but this is the best thing Jake Nichols wants to see. He wants to see these two battles side by side. He wants to check out bit by bit, increase his lead as much as he can while we're under green flag conditions, because this could be a long green flag run, Kyle, and with that, we'll open pit stops.
You said it, not me. Long green flag run. 33 and 22, battling for 14th here. Look at Turner and Springer and Hearn. This is a really exciting group. A little bit higher up the order than it was last time. We were watching just outside of 20th prior to the first yellow. Now this is just outside of the top 10.
I think we're starting to see a lot of the faster drivers, especially those that had EOLs, starting to gravitate more towards the top end of the field. So now it's looking a little bit more top-heavy with some of the battles brewing, but a lot of quick guys, and I guess they're feeling inhibited. I think the cork on the bottle at the moment is Kwame Scott in the 36, kind of backing things up a bit as Drew Jua has a look on Dom DeLeo.
DeLeo trying to keep the 13 at bay. He'll do it for this time round, but
Go ahead of them, side by side.
yeah, they got some interesting battles in front of them. That's David Weishart in the 33 car. He's got a mirror full of Dom DeLeo now, trying to get around Bailey Turner just in front of him.
Tight quarters onto the back straightaway again. The 22 comes over partially to block the 13, maybe to have a look at the 33. Here comes Tyler Gary.
And Delier's coming in, knock, who's there? I'm ready to go to the front.
Here's an interesting thing. Let's have a look at his best lap in speed, 162.8 miles an hour. The leader, 162.5. Tyler Gary is the fastest car here tonight so far with his lap time. He's the only driver other than James Scioli to be in the, and Adam Cabot, to be in the 28-second bracket. So this 62 is one to watch still, despite that slow start.
And not too surprising. Again, we got a NASCAR Esports Pro driver in here, one of two, both him and Kwame Scott. They're both performing very well this race, which is, again, what you would kind of expect. Well, Tyler Gary's got a bit of a tougher battle in his hands. He's got a string of cars directly ahead, nose to tail, so it's kind of hard to make some moves without potentially losing a spot. With Cameron Hearn, I think I just saw slow off the corner, got a bad run, and all of his work was trying to get around Ricky Springer and company, and now he gets passed on by them.
Man, washed up a bit too much in the middle of 1 and 2, and you don't want to hit the wall and corner exit. That will really kill you, so better to lose a few spots than a couple handfuls of spots.
62 laps complete, and we'll keep clicking them away here at Darlington. Jake Nichols leads the way. His gap is growing. Finian, is there any concern that Nichols could gain control of this race as he sometimes does, and he sets the pace? He's able to pit later than everyone else, pull that overcut strategy, and just drive away with this.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's able to kind of just set his own pace. He doesn't really have a whole lot of threats from behind him. Oath is kind of backed off. He's still within a 10th, so definitely still a threat. And
spin! Front stretch! Yeah, a couple of cars spin to the inside wall, Kyle.
Dom DeLeo is one of them.
Tyler Gary as well involved.
Oh, man, that's not what Tyler Gary wanted to see. Let's go back and have a look and see how this brewed. It was between these two. Same thing as we saw in the first wreck. And just two cars involved, and it looked shockingly similar to what we saw the first time around, guys.
Yeah, it looks like they're just kind of fighting for the same piece of track off of turn 4, which is what we saw in the previous one.
When you go back, so let's look at them side by side. So here's the one that we just had. Watch the 22 and 62. Now, I know that the 22 thinks the 62 might use more racetrack, but you can't exit that close to the wall or else you'll get yourself into trouble. So there's that crash. Yeah. And let's go back to the lap 38 crash here with the 2 and the 19. It's going to be almost exactly the same, where the 19's got half or 3/4 of a car width up there, but you can't get all the way to the fence. So that inside car, when it tracks out, bam. I mean, maybe the 2 was a little bit lower, but it's almost exactly the same incident. And pit stops.
Yep, and pit stops. Not surprised we're going to see some pit stops here. Actually, only 20 laps into the run, but I guess figuring that's enough.
Yeah. Once again, here's a side-by-side look with Eric Weiland, race control, making the tough decisions here. They're going to be giving penalty points to
nobody,
someone out of this, or no one.
At least not for now. Again, it'll always get reviewed post-race, but was it was shared fault for the first one, and it might be adjusted to be something similar. And I would not disagree with none or both getting penalties for that.
Race control telling us to hold our horses.
Oh,
here.
sorry, it was the wrong lap. I was reading the wrong thing. I saw 22 on there, but yeah, I mean, I think in both cases, I don't know that there's any one driver. I think maybe the first one was a little bit more on the outside car than the second one, but either way, just two cars trying to occupy the same space. It wasn't egregious.
Ooh, have some naughty boys speeding on pit lane. Looks like Richard Jr. and Nick Silver. They're going to be dropping to the back. I'm going to let the whole field on by.
I love this paint scheme. Man.
I miss Carl Edwards.
Yeah, don't we all? Unless you're a Brett Keselowski fan. But I just miss. I feel like ads were more fun.
Oh, they definitely used to be
they
more
weren't
fun.
annoying.
Well, everything
you know what I mean?
used to be more fun.
Well, there's ads that try to be fun now and then just aren't.
In particular, the Napa ads were. Yeah. That
Speaking
one
of
and
fun ads,
the Toyota ones as well.
How about Hendry County Motorsports Park, our replay partner for this season? Racing returns to the Hendry County Motorsports Park on September 7th, including 360 Top Gun Wing Sprints, Cruiser late models, and factory stocks, and more. Tickets are $15 for adults with discounted prices for seniors and teens, and kids ages 5 and under are free. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Clewiston, Florida, off U.S. Highway 27. Visit henryracing.com for more info. Yeah, Napa know-how. What else?
Toyota.
Oh, 5-hour
the
energy
Sponsifier. No, what was the?
Oh yeah, Toyota Sponsifier.
Well, the Sponsifier,
Yes.
like, well, you know, who doesn't love kittens, bunnies, and little baby seals? And then there was the
RC
car
one.
one.
Yes, that was great.
And then what was it, the Dale Jarrett UPS once when he would drive for Toyota?
Oh yeah, that Sprint.
He
had
drove-
They
some ones as
sold
well.
drove the van.
diecast of the truck on
Oh yes,
Goodyear
I remember
slicks.
seeing.
Yeah.
I remember seeing
Joel
those.
has one, I think. You know, Joel Finning, he's got. I think
Yes.
he's got one of those diecasts.
No,
What
really?
a fun ad program that was.
Yeah, I just feel like they don't try. They just like kind of slap a sponsor on the hood and like. I think also it has to do with it's kind of I guess a routine, more current problem is with the amount of different sponsors the teams have. I guess there's less incentive for the ads to put in the companies to put in money for ads when you're not sponsoring a team for a whole season.
Yeah.
Because it almost seems like the drivers have like 3 or 4 primary paint schemes the entire year.
By the way, because it's riveting the chat right now. They really want to know. Oh, this Carter Cooper's posted a picture of the truck. I gotta download this, show it later. The incident, the most recent incident, was ruled on the on the 22. Because the 62 didn't move down, unlike the previous incident where the outside car did. So incident points for the 22 this time. So that clears that up for now. And here we go. Watch that 54 drifted up there out of turn 4. But green flag, we're back underway, lap 68.
Man, Jake Scaglioli, I told you, last restart he needed to set that alarm. He still needs to set that alarm. Another poor restart for him, and Seth Knoll getting on through. Although, may want to argue this time that was planned to let his teammate get on through and in line. But we'll see. He's under attack with Jonathan Oates, and everyone fanning out in behind trying to gain spots.
Yeah, Morton got in the wall, and it scattered everybody, Hunter.
Yeah, there's a lot of tanglement going on back there, but keeping it straight so far. Cameron Hearn to the outside of Bailey Turner, trying to enter his way back inside the top 10. Got a couple more spots to do that. Oates looking for third from Scaglioli.
Oates has had good pace tonight. He doesn't want to get buried in traffic here. Track position is going to be king tonight. Watch the 7 on the outside. Banging fenders out of turn 2. And wow, big move to the inside. Philip Groner blocks Ricky Springer, or they were crashing together and somehow saved it.
I don't know, either way, they're still really close together side by side in 3 and 4. And looking back at it, it was Groner that was sideways off the corner that caused that checkup on the back straightaway. Cameron Hearn, big run for him. The inside of Ricky Springer, he will look into turn 1.
Battle for 11th, right behind Matthew Morton, who holds that 10th spot. Bailey Turner looking to the outside, trying to get a run. Meanwhile, up in front for the 5th position, Matheson going to clear Jonathan Oates, and Oates on the way back.
Yeah, I had to check up in a big way out of turn 2, and when you have to lift, you just get run over. And Adam Cabot to the outside, he could really use a good run here. A little contact out of turn 4.
Cabot got loose, and Oates got a little bit of contact. He's trying to still find a place in line. Michael Curran going to work to his outside, and Curran almost in the wall. Oates was putting him in the wall, trying to get the 24 to back off, and they're still not backing off with each other. It's a drag race down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it's going to keep him side by side, and Philip Groner ready to fill in that spot in case the 45 can't get in. And this is about for 7th as Curran going to try and stay in front of the 45, but they're still side by side and trading paint headed into turn 1.
Yeah, leaning on each other a little bit. I don't know how much Michael Curran will love that. Squeezed up into the outside wall, and Philip Groner might see an opportunity here when the 45 lifts. He's going to shoot this gap. Going to try. Now swings to the bottom. Here comes Groner.
Perfectly timed there. Got the run off the corner and momentum to execute a move. It's going to be tight, though, in 3 and 4. It's hard to make the move on the inside. And can't quite, I think, keep the momentum going. Might have to yield to the 45 unless he keeps in it. And it's going to be the 51. That'll just slot his nose to the outside of the 11.
That's going to be for 9th, and Groner trying to come up. He can. He wiggles a little bit alongside the 51 of Springer.
Ricky Springer on the wall. He makes contact with Groner. 51 still sideways off the corner. He will save it, though.
Cameron Hearn goes by, and Bailey Turner's going to jump on this. Smell blood in the water. You got to go to eat, huh?
Cameron Hearn getting a little bit tight. He will block the 25 from trying to make a move to that outside, puts himself on the wall. Meanwhile, that Jake Matheson makes a charge past the 7. Kwame Scott is trying to follow up through.
Yeah, very fortunate. Scaglioli cleared himself in front of Kwame Scott there. Almost had an incident there, but Jake Matheson now up to 3rd. Looking to hunt down that one of Seth Knoll. That's once again, it's a Solar Flare 1-2 up front.
Yeah, Jake Matheson looking pretty good. He was my pick to win this race tonight. It took him a little while to find his legs here, but he is moving forward now in that 54. Kwame Scott right behind, still a top 5 car tonight. Scaglioli, who led so many laps early in this race, is fading just a little.
Yeah, looks like he can't quite find his footing. That being said, he's still running really well on 5th. He's right behind Kwame Scott. Potentially might make a move in the next couple of laps if he can get some footing. Kwame Scott, he's actually looking low, trying to get a move on Jake Matheson done. So all 3 of them in a little battle amongst themselves for 3rd place as the field somewhat stringing itself out for a little bit of calm, potentially before a strong.
Well, I wanted to point out that Travis Beckner is the only car that is 1 lap down currently, so he's in a free pass position, and his lap times are not really that far off. They're not fastest by any stretch, but they're only off by a couple tenths of a second. So whatever damage he received seems to be mitigated somewhat by some of the repairs that he's done. Most recently spent about 20 seconds in pit lane, and he has been to pit lane 3 separate times tonight. to repair some of that damage. Seth Knoll feeling some pressure from Matheson here as the 54 tries to move forward again.
Yeah, he's been kind of poking and prodding, trying to see where he can get a run. Gets a great run out of turn 2 on the back straightaway. Immediately going to throw the car to the inside. Might have enough to throw it in. Going to throw it way down below onto the apron. And will slide up in front of the one. Big question is, can he keep the momentum off the corner? I think he should be able to. Solid move, solid execution there for Jake Matheson.
Jake Matheson and Johnny Bravo on the hood, moving up to second. Seth Knoll going to slide back down the order in third, and Kwame Scott's ready to pounce at any given moment. He's all over his bumper for third.
Battle's fizzling for now as laps slip away here, trudging our way towards the halfway point of this race. 59 minutes of action remaining based on our pace so far. Jonathan Oates side by side with Curhan here out of 4. And Philip Groner trying to rebound here and take another stab at this 45.
Yeah, his battle's pretty much where we left it off. I think just some reverse position with 24 on the inside, Oates on the outside, and looks like Oates might win out of this exchange. Curran will stay ahead of the 11 of Groner. They'll sort themselves out 7, 8, and 9.
Solid pace for the defending Cup champion this season to go, and up front still Kwame Scott giving pressure to the one of Seth Knoll and James Skyley. I think he let those cars go in front of him just to kind of preserve his tires a little bit, since he wasn't in the lead and really wasn't up front, so maybe just a strategy play from the 7. Tires are pretty important here. They pit after just 24 laps, and we're nearing 16 laps now in this stint.
Down the back straightaway now, and they're piled in behind the 1. Skyley's going to pop out of line to the inside, though. Is that the wise place to be? Will he get a little cooperation from Kwame Scott? Nope, Scott back on the throttle. And 20 laps to halfway this time through as Nichols leads Matheson by 0.3 seconds.
I think he's hoping that Kwame Scott be a little bit more held up by the one of Seth Knoll through 3 and 4 with some dirty air, but didn't really affect him at all. Kwame Scott himself actually trying to get a big run on the one of Seth Knoll. But he seems more complacent staying in line compared to Skyley. He wants to try to move back forward, especially because you can see the leaders right up the road.
And then outside the top 10, Peyton Howell, Cameron Hearn, Blaze McKinney, all in this little trio battle here, as up in front of them, Michael Curran's trying to stay inside the top 10, but Cameron Hearn inside McKinney from turn 1.
It's actually the 8 of Bell running a pretty similar livery to McKinney. There's the 8 and there's the 87, just for reference. They look similar from a distance, but whoa, here comes Troy Eidson in the 78 up the outside of the Lucky Duck 78.
Try to make it work and keep the car in it. You get clear of Cameron Hearn, who almost makes contact off of turn 4. And the 8 now dropping down. He's actually dropping between the top and the bottom, giving both of them a tow. And in behind them, Douglas Zubik, he's waiting in the wings to see what happens.
Yeah, he's got a good view of this battle coming out of turn 2. Mightn't peek down to the inside. He will. Of the 4, Cameron Hearn heading into 3.
Yeah, big lunge from the 71, way down on the apron. Here's Kwame Scott on Seth Knoll, and he's got a little side draft. Got to the quarter panel and a little contact there to dissuade the 1 from coming over to defend. Now, in the middle of 1 and 2, it's really tough to hold the inside lane here on the exit.
Yeah, trying to use the side dash for his advantage, makes contact with the 1. They almost door each other into the wall. Seth Knoll, and then now here comes Adam Cabot. Sorry, not Cabot, Skyoli to the inside.
And Kwame Scott descended in really deep into turn 3. Skyley going to get near the 1 of Knoll, almost making contact. Here comes 07 to Cabot, trying to enter the top 5, going to give a bump to Knoll down the front stretch.
Yeah, he's picked his favorite, hasn't he? Off into turn 1. 2 blue 7 cars side by side, 1-7, 1-0-7. And the outside lane, 1-0-7. And Oates with a big run in the 45 to break up this Camaro party here.
He's going to get a run to the outside of Scully. Scully, the big loser out in this battle, it seems, as he's got passed by 1, now 2 cars. If Oates can clear, whoa! Some door-to-door contact off the corner, and now Philip Groner lined up in line as well as Morton, all waiting to have a crack at it, trying to get around Scully now.
And things starting to heat up outside the top 5 as Scully underneath. Oates are going to be close in turn 2. Scully had to back out of that. Amazing save from the 7. He's going to lose a few spots, but at least he didn't wreck the race car.
He's going to lose more than a few spots here. I think he's going to lose at least 2 or 3, assuming the 51 can carry some speed to the outside or to the inside here on corner exit. Patience displayed by Springer there. He had the opportunity. He sat on it.
Figured the run wasn't good enough to make him move, since Skyler was finally able to get our position on that outside lane. Back in line, but now back to 9th place. That's all this checkup has caused the top two to really break away, a 2.2-second gap between 2nd and 3rd place.
And looking to the outside now, trying to get a run, Ricky Springer, and Scioli stops the bleeding for now, and we see some more single file action. Choo-choo train forming behind Kwame Scott. Whoa! 17 of Ed Shearer Jr. in the back, almost spinning himself out with the 87 of Blaze McKinney.
Yeah, these two going at it. Not sure that it's done yet. Out of turn 2. Now it's done. Here's what happened leaving turn 4, though. This is going into 3 the last time around. Watch how tight things get between the 17 and 87, Finian.
Flying through here, and then again on the exit. Those lanes kind of merge a little bit. The top lane has to come down. Bottom lane kind of comes up a little bit. So almost saw a 3rd caution out of that.
Well, everything's calmed down for the moment. I say for the moment, and Jonathan Notes and Philip Groner trying to re-spark a battle inside the top 10, actually for 5th, with Adam Cabot holding that 5th spot.
All the while, Jake Nichols and Jake Matheson have just set sail. They are not even in a different zip code. They're in a different galaxy right now. 2/10 a lap faster than everyone else behind them and nearly 3 seconds ahead, Finian. This is the kind of run that you would need to get a long green flag run going, get your advantage, and pace yourself.
Yeah, I think Matheson's liking this too, because he's still in tow with Nichols and just trying to kind of maintain the pace with 73 and conveniently just working away from Bobby Scott. And Bobby Scott kind of arguably holding up everyone. You see everyone nose to tail right in behind them all the way back to around maybe 15, 16 position. Seth Knoll, I wonder if he's going to maybe try to push a little bit here to try to get around Bobby Scott.
Yeah, meanwhile, Nichols and Matheson, they've checked out quite a bit in this conga line behind the 36.
Yeah, it really is significant how much they've gathered behind Kwame Scott. Here's Trey Eitzen on the 8 of Matthew Bell. Bell goes to block, and he blocks again. That's 2 strikes, Finian.
Yeah, you're really playing with fire when you start to block more than one time, especially entering a corner. Puts yourself up to being turned around in the wrong direction, but Matthew Bell will hold on. Eitzen, he gets a bump from the back, and Cameron Hearn. Hearn still trying to move up some spots after he dropped back, running up just outside the top 10.
Trying to get alongside. At a moment there off turn 4. Have to save the car. It's still going to be alongside Trey Eitzen heading into 1.
And they're both trying to let each other by there. You know you go, no you go, no you go.
Oh, and Douglas Newbigin says, guys, let's all go. How about that? Excuse me. And he will go. Now this time on the inside.
I think Hearn might be able to hold it here on the outside, but I think he's a little bit spooked, and that kind of throws you off the rhythm there.
Jamming up this whole group. What happened to the 3, by the way? It's quietly back here at 19th. Just kind of dropped through the field.
Pretty got shuffled out on their pit stops and just kind of put back here, but
a little bounce off the wall for that 52 car there. Again, is Darlington striped in.
It's a rite of passage to tear off the right side of your vinyl wrap. Did you really go to Darlington if you come back with all the vinyl still on your car?
You didn't run hard enough is what I think that shows.
Yeah, you probably lost. There's a Goldilocks amount of vinyl missing. All of it you lost, and none of it you lost. You need a little bit gone. These drivers battle back here for about 20th spot. Oh. They have kept it interesting back here, though, haven't they?
They really have. It's still getting interesting here as Blaze McKinney making a move to the inside of Nick Silver. Ed Shearer Jr. in behind. Wait to see what happens here. McKinney loose off of turn 4, and Shearer Jr. going to look around the outside for a spot.
Yeah, well, he's going to tuck in line now. I was going to say if they were still door-to-door, that wouldn't work well off too, but they kept it straight for the time being. Meanwhile, Jonathan Oates still trying to re-enter the top 5, but 11 of Philip Groner trying to do the same, closing in for 6th.
They are just clicking laps away left and right, and the front 2 continue to grow their gap. Now have a look at this. Here's the front two. Here's everybody else.
A nice visualization there of the gap. Looks like for now, at least the bleeding stop. Tommy Scott's trying to match the pace of the leaders a little more. So look at a side-by-side battle. Michael Curran going to rocket around the outside of Ricky Springer, put the 24 back inside the top 10. He will set off next to try to attack James Scally just up the road.
17's been a little nucleus of excitement tonight, hasn't he? Right behind Nick Silver and right ahead of Blaze McKinney. And chasing Reese Schaefer in the 97, the white car just ahead here. Look at the 17, a big lunge into 3.
It's arguably a late dive there for the 17. He break back inside the top 20. He's going to get a poor exit off the corner. Blaze McKinney in that 87 is going to put that car on the outside lane.
And still door to door. Going to be real interesting off 2.
Oh, he lunged for it, but he's not going to get there. Contact. Pancaking each other out of turn 2, and here comes McKinney with nowhere to go.
Silver was playing with fire there. He came down to door the 17, I think, and showing disapproval. Almost turned him. That'll give you a big penalty, but keeps off of it for now. But this battle is still far from over.
Yeah, they thought about 3 wide. At least McKinney did, but he backed off. 17 going to set it in. Not going to be clear. 99 is Silver going to have to back off if they want to make the corner.
And he will, but he's not going to hold any punches here. He's going to try to squeeze up to the outside. That didn't work. He's got a lift, and here comes McKinney.
Yeah, Silver's trying to take advantage there. Shearer Jr. got loose off the corner, and the 17 going to make the 87 go into the wall as he was trying to look around the outside.
If they gave these guys sledgehammers, they'd be bludgeoning each other to death right now. They are absolutely not holding back.
They do. It's 3,400-pound stock cars. That's their sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Well, they got helmets on, so that's helping.
Up ahead of them, battle brewing between Bailey Turner, Matthew Bell, and Cameron Hearn for 13th. Cameron Hearn's going to look to the inside of the 8, try to see if he can get him off of turn 4 here with a run down the front straightaway.
Good run for the 4. Still trying to close back inside the top 10. This is for 14th on the racetrack. And speaking of 14th, the 14 of Connor Okresic closing in on this battle as well.
Keep an eye on the lap times on the left-hand side of the screen. You'll notice that Nichols and Matheson were actually a lot slower than most of the rest of the top 10.
Yeah, I think we're starting to hit that point, and I feel like this is what we're seeing with Kwame Scott as a 4. He's able to muscle his way past the 8. Connor Okresic going to try to do the same. Going to drag race down the front straightaway. But yeah, I think this is what we were expecting to see from Kwame Scott. I wonder why he felt like he was kind of almost sandbagging in a way. Like he should be on pace with the 54 and the 73, but now it looks like he may be starting to light the afterburners up a little bit and start to chase them back down.
It's got a big enough gap to where he's in front of the one of Seth Knoll. It's about a second back, and this battle brewing for 4th right now. Cabot to the inside of Knoll, heading into turn 1.
I wonder if those front 2 weren't counting on the run being this long. That little contact there between Cabot and Knoll mid-corner, because we've passed the length now, I think, of our longest run of the race, so maybe they were anticipating it being a little shorter and preserving their tires as such, but Scott playing the long run here as Cabot clears Seth Knoll in a big way. He's through.
Surprise, Knoll kind of gave it to him there, back off the corner. I think it was maybe to see if Cabot messes up the corner, he can get back, but looks like he figured to just yield it, let him get on through. Speaking of yielding, James Scully, it looks like he gave up the spot to Michael Curran after a poor exit off of turn 4. I think he'll drop back to 10th.
Hunter, I think alarm bells for me for the 7, because he's been not particularly quick on this run, and he's not moving back forward, and we're beginning to run out of laps. I know there's still a lot of racing left to go, but to move your way back forward from P10 sounds like a lot of work, even though he led the first 38 laps of this race.
Yeah, it's really where it started to go amiss when he lost that battle on pit road with Jonathan Oates after the first caution, and really just hasn't been able to gather everything back. It's almost like dirty air starting to play.
Oh, the 54 just plowed down the wall out of turn 2.
I think he's trying to push this stuff maybe a little bit too far. Got a decent kiss of the wall there.
He walloped it. Here's a look at it.
It's not the kiss that Johnny Bravo wants.
No, that was a full-on face smash right here. Pow, that's a gnarly impact there. That will, I think, damage the car.
Look at Bravo on the hood. Oh, he's got his hands cupped, trying to protect his head.
Yeah, I mean, the car's starting to get tight here. I think he pushed him maybe a little bit too hard this first run, and now Kwame Scott and company, they're starting to trail him back down a little bit.
Still 3 seconds behind the race leader, Jake Nichols, but closing in as the laps dwindle on. Meanwhile, Adam Cabot's cleared of Seth Knoll for 4th, and Oates is actually taking over for 5th, and this is the back half of the top 10. Current Groner and Scioli, as Groner slaps the wall in the middle 1 and 2.
All 3 of those cars hit the wall, actually. This is the point in the run now. We're 44 laps into this run where your car's driving terribly, and you start to, you know, you're running out of opportunities to save the car. When it starts pushing, it's already too late here. There's a moment, Finn, when you leave turn 2 that if you realize you're going to hit it, it's already too late. You got to be sooner than that.
Cameron Hearn was getting to Peyton Howell. I was going to say Phil Groner, he's starting to really feel the tightness of the car. He was running in 7th just about 3 laps ago and is now already back in 10th, so he's starting to feel the car fall off. Might be one of the first drivers we see come down to pit lane as this mess is still trying to get sorted out. It's Peyton Howell in 12th, Connor Crescent 13th, Hearn returning Bell.
What's this? 87 to Blaze McKinney. Going to come back up. Wow, that was really close for him and David Weishart. Weishart in the wall. This thing's still going on through 3 and 4.
Almost pulling the Hail Melon there. He's been in the wall so much. Let's see what happened to McKinney.
Start off at turn 2 here.
He's already a little high, quarter lane high. Throttles up, gets a big run on the 99, big understeer there. Gets hit off the 33, and he comes back up the racetrack in front of the 33 of Weishart. Weishart goes in there to run into him. And he tried to get back to him again, didn't he?
It almost kind of looked like you did. So maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But they'll keep going. It'll somewhat sort it out for now. Let's see Bell in the number 8 trying to make a move on Bailey Turner. They'll go. He'll door the 25 in the wall.
All right, now we're just wearing the right sides off these cars. Need some new
they've been keeping it pretty clean the first 100 laps. I think they're starting to feel like they could take a little more vinyl off here and there.
Earned the right to shave down the right side of the car.
I think they heard what we were talking about before. They're like,
boy, that's
not pushing high enough.
He's looking to take some vinyl off the 8.
Anyone ever grow up with Flat Stanley in your school?
Oh, yes.
Someone took me a while to Stanley throwback.
We just had a groundhog.
Groundhog?
Yep.
We are Fox Sports. There's Cameron Hearn to the inside of the 52 of Peyton Howell. Both side by side here for 12th place. Pit stop soon, I'd imagine, too. Sorry, Finney. I'd imagine 50 laps into this run, you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, ideally before I figured these guys were thinking maybe 2-stopper, try to go maybe around 65, 66 laps if they could push it. But yeah, then we had the cautions come out. The caution came out around lap 60, 62, I think. So it kind of puts them back a little bit more on strategy. So I think we're going to start to see guys maybe start to think of pit stops the next 10, 20 laps if they can push it all the way.
And Columbia Scott trying to push his way through the 54 of Matheson for that second spot without actually making contact with him. He's closed the gap tremendously, and that wiggle off 2 is not going to help Matheson at all.
Let's see if he downshifted, and Scott's going to get to the left rear, move the 54 up into the fence, actually.
That was an interesting maneuver, yeah.
Back and have another one.
I would have argued, maybe he was trying to defend the 73, but there would be no reason for him to do because they're not teammates.
The only other thing I could think of is maybe the 54 was trying to let him go on the outside and was giving him that lane, but yeah, not sure. We'll have to remember that one for later if those two are duking it out for the win. And Cameron Hearn still battling with Peyton Howell, Connor O'Kresick there as well.
Reinhardt's dropping out. Oh, gosh, every week. I don't even understand how he gets the will to join every week with how catastrophic his season has gone. With that internet connectivity, I would have moved by now if I was him. I actually did do that. I did move.
Oh yeah, you did move because your internet was not the best.
Well, I got a better internet first, but then I still moved. Mostly because...
Oh, right. I forgot, yes.
Throwback, but besides the point.
Man, an update on what happened with Matson there. He said he wasn't looking. My bad. Oh, like Kwame Scott knows. So, and now he's definitely looking now because he's under attack from Adam Cabot and Jonathan Oates behind him.
There comes Cabot, looking low, not going to be easy, and, well, they're actually going to rub a little bit in turn 1. Turn 2 going to be tight on corner exit. Jonathan Oates watching this unfold, might make it 3 wide. Here he is, 3 wide down the backstretch.
And Oates is not going to lift. He's got a big run coming. Now he lifts 3 abreast into 3. Matheson's up in the wall again. He bounces off, but Cabot through to third. Who had the well, not the 007, the 07. Who had him on their picks tonight? Nobody.
Nobody, no. It's been difficult for the 07 to really finish it. He's always had the car. It's a week in, week out. He's had a fast car, never been able to quite execute with a decent finish, but here he is looking at his first top 3 finish of the season. He can hang on. And meanwhile, back here, his teammate, the 25, Bailey Turner, trying to work around the outside of Eric Shearer Jr., battle for 16.
Nope.
Oh!
Gosh.
You know, that 17 was sliding sideways.
He's had some really big commitments tonight. One of our, not one of our EOLs this week, but he had some in the past. Lucky he hasn't caught one tonight with how aggressive he has been. As Hearn goes by Travis Beckner. Beckner's gone a second lap down. And now the only car 1 lap down is Tyler Nichols in the 41. All the while, Jake Nichols, he is running slower and losing his advantage, but it is still 2.6 seconds over Kwame Scott.
But he's starting to come down at a not so insignificant rate, but a 10th or 2 a lap is what he's starting to be chipped off at. For Nichols, like I mentioned, it's only going to start to get worse as it goes on. So we've seen the drivers that pushed a little bit harder earlier on, and now the drivers that have been saving, they're starting to get the advantage in the upper hand. So Kwame Scott, Cabot, Oates, charging forward now.
I'm trying to think if one of these guys would make their first pit stop, because if this thing goes green another 20 laps or so, they're going to try and split this in half with how many laps we have left. We have 80 to go. They're currently 56 laps on their run. I would say maybe within the next 15 laps, right around 70 laps on their stint. So this would be 65 to go. We could see guys coming in and making their stops and splitting it in half and going the rest of the way on fuel. Fuel should be good, but tires, not so much.
Well, I tell you this, the lap time difference we're going to see tomorrow and Thursday will be much more significant than we're seeing tonight from fresh versus old tires. We're only off about 1.7 seconds, which isn't really all that much, but I can tell you that these cars are driving like hot, steaming garbage right now, despite them not being that much physically slower. These guys are screaming for tires, but they're going to go by the tank because you just want to be on the racetrack. Without that significant difference in lap time like we'll see Tuesday and Thursday, I don't think you can afford to come in all that early. And the higher tire wear is going to open up the strategies tomorrow and Thursday, but not so much tonight, as the 54 has dropped to 7th place, and this is quickly unraveling.
Yeah, it's going to continue to drop here the more laps he gets out there. I think he's trying to hit his number till where he to the point where he can kind of come in and have decent enough tires left for the rest of this race. So it's a matter of hanging on in the number 54 machine after running so well up in second, starting to fall through the order.
So only 1 car's pit so far. That's Tyler Nichols. He was the first car 1 lap down. He's now 3 laps down. But with the way that new tires are versus old tires, it's like you're racing everyone on rookie mode. That's how much of a difference it's been.
So Bonnarant, number 9, looking around Garrett Grant. Grant was involved in a wreck earlier. The 9 was, as well as the damage on the front of that car. And Garrett Grant goes for a slide. Gathers it up.
There's Connor Horn working his way around. It's not been a particularly good night for the 42 machine.
He had EOL, but he hasn't made up from it.
Yeah, he was up there earlier. I was kind of surprised. I thought he was more upside in the top 20 at least by now. He was running well at one point. I'm not sure the pit stop shuffled things out, put him further down. But yeah, they kind of stuck in this hole back here in around 25th, 26th.
Man, Matheson really falling off a cliff. He's down to 9th. He's ran, I think, 4 car lengths or 4/10 of a second slower lap time than the leader. His cars are really falling off a cliff as Bailey Turner, Trey Eidson, Nick Silver, and Blaze McKinney all. Oh, there was a moment for Weishart off turn 2.
75 laps to go, about 38 minutes of racing remaining, so you're thinking about your last stop. Cars have been on track now for 61 laps. but they'd have to go even longer if they were to pit now. Now, speaking of, David Weishart is the first to break. He's coming on down pit road.
And he will be, like you mentioned, first to break, and around 59 laps completed for Weishart on this set of tires. So it seems to be the lower limit.
For second.
And I imagine with that, for second, that happened quick. Adam Cabot to move on Kwame Scott, and on through he will go.
A little surprising to see the speed out the 07. He was keeping up with the 36 of Kwame Scott, but didn't know it was going to be that much faster to where he was going to be able to pass him.
Actually, I was just looking back. What happened is that Kwame Scott, he hit the wall off of turn 4, just a little bit, slight, small tank slapper into the wall, and then that killed his momentum. Cabot took advantage of it, so he's up to second. See how long keep that going. I'm keeping an eye on 54 as far as drivers to pit. I feel like he might be the next one to come on down. He's dropped back to ninth.
I think Jake Matheson is a driver that is capable of saving more tire than he did. I just don't think he was expecting the run to be that long, so I think he'll have learned something for this final run, and I imagine he'll apply that.
Just hit the wall. But yeah, I think that Matheson is just in a place where he's like, yeah, I could, push hard, not push hard. I think he's just kind of hoping maybe for a Hail Mary if he kept up with 73. Caution came out, reset. But didn't quite work out, but again, nothing really lost for the 54. Just kind of out there. I think at this point he's trying out to just collect W's.
Oh, as Groner passes Matheson for ninth, Adam Cabot, Payne Howell pits. We're going to see more guys come in, and I was going to say Cabot about 3/10 quicker that last time than Nichols.
There's a look at your lap times last time around. You mentioned it. 3/10 quicker than Jake Nichols, and quicker than Scott, and quicker than Oates. Quickest car on the track, in fact. This is, again, not a driver that I had on the radar. He's had speed at times this year, Finney, but he's not really been able to put it together in a night like tonight.
No, he's either had bad luck or had unfortunate luck himself. And he's only finished inside the top 10 one time this season. That was at Pocono, and North Wilkesboro. Just finished 10th there. The highest finished in 9th this season, so a big up on him as more drivers come down to pit road. Ricky Springer down there, Nick Silver, Drew Jura down there, and James Scioli, one of the first front runners to come on down.
Well, we mentioned about how tricky pit road is, Kyle, having to navigate from the 23 degrees of banking in 3 and 4 all the way down to pit speed, and it's a long way down when you're pitting from all the way up. And I think some guys even start at the entrance to turn 3 just so they don't overdrive it.
You can see it at the bottom there. Yeah, just get down to the apron just so you can see where you're going. It's so hard to see with how far away from the racing surface the entrance to pit lane is. That was Michael Curhan. And let's just ride on board here on a replay. Just watch him make this pit lane entry. Look on the left, all the way down on the apron, because look how far you are from the track, how far left this entrance is. And it's so narrow. You really have to be expecting it. You can't drive off into turn 3 and turn down across the racetrack and still make it. So nice entrance there by Curhan. He's into the box. Seth Knoll turns in, and he'll be next driver from the front runners to break.
Yeah, Alfie will go down to pit lane, and like you mentioned, it's such a small entry, so very narrow margin there for you to make it. And if you don't, you're gonna lose a huge amount of time on the racetrack. Looking at Jonathan Oates right now, he's chasing down Kwame Scott. They're about a contested battle for 3rd place. Ooh, Adam Cabot's slow up ahead. I think he's trying to get Woe down for pit lane,
and he will make it.
I was just about to say, he really closed in on Jake Nichols there. I thought we were gonna have a battle for the lead, but nope, he just comes down pit road, and Oates going to pass Kwame Scott for 2nd, and here comes the 81 car of Max Service on new tires.
No blaze on through. Now, this is kind of a dangerous point in the race when you have drivers at such varying paces on track together, peeling off across the racetrack to hit pit lane. So we have the potential for a yellow in this stage as everyone kind of scatters around the racetrack. Drew Jua to the inside of Kwame Scott there. So this is a pretty chaotic time. But Jake Nichols calmly and coolly in command of this thing.
I like when Adam Cabot came down to pit lane because Nichols was approaching 2 lap cars that were battling with each other. So I think he felt that's better to just come down pit lane and avoid the time loss. But Nichols, I think he's looking to the left. I think he might come on down this time by. And I hear him downshifting, so indeed he will. He'll surrender the lead. Kwame Scott will continue onwards and will take hold of the lead of this race. Actually, Jonathan Oates now will lead the race.
They really cut it close when they arc it that low, almost in the inside wall, just trying to get into pit road. And maintain pace, speed, and then main thing, you don't want to overslide your pit box.
Gotta nail it. Feel a little bit more liberty here in the green flag circumstances than you do under yellow because everyone's not gonna pounce on you, but be tough. Jonathan Oates slowing up, and he's gonna allow the 8 on through. Jake Nichols is in his box, so is Philip Groner. And we're closing in on 60 laps to go. So these drivers now are past the halfway point from now, or from where they last pit.
Sorry, I just saw Blaze McKinney get into Dom DeLeo. He's turning the 22 around, gave him a decent amount of contact to his left rear. Almost would have caused the caution there. That's with a big speed differential, fresh tires versus old tires.
Oh, yep. That's gonna be damage to the 87 as well, I think. Jake Matheson onto pit lane with the 54.
He continued way longer than I thought he was going to.
Well, he wants to have a tire advantage for the end of the race. And these are long runs. This overcut strategy works better here than anywhere else, but he's going to give up a lot of time because of what he did here, Finian. So I'm not sure if it's going to make him a race-winning car, but it could mean that he's on the offensive late in the going instead of on the defensive.
We'll see how it works out for him. He's going to drop quite a few spots, like you mentioned. More or less, actually, where he was kind of running in lane. I think maybe down a position or two, but back out on the racetrack he will go. Jonathan Oates is down now to get service to his car. Kwame Scott is also down. Trey Aitzen will be the one that will inherit the lead, as well as Bailey Turner.
And important to note that once this all cycles through, Adam Cabot will take over as race leader with Curran in second, but he went in a couple laps earlier than Jake Nichols with a couple laps of pressure tires for the 73, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on in the long run if this thing goes green to the end, Kyle.
Left-hand side of the screen, you can see those who have pit versus those who have not. There's only 4 drivers left. Heitzen, Newbegin, DeLeo, and actually now it's only 3. Heitzen, Newbegin, and DeLeo. Cabot, Curhan will cycle to be your top 2, and there's only about a half second between them. There's Scioli right there in the mix as well, but note that Scioli has a lap older tires than Curhan and 3 lap older tires than Cabot.
I think Douglas Newbegin might be going down a tire. We saw him hit the wall in 3 and 4. Looks like the cars are struggling to rotate left. A little bit better this time, but he's really slowing off the pace, running 32-second laps. He's off the throttle midway through the corner. And I think he's kind of hoping and praying for a caution.
Well,
nope.
He's yet to make a pit stop, trying to make the most, and he's going to do that just now. So Trey Eidson, the leader, still yet to pit. 75 laps on this bump. They both went 75 laps, Kyle. That's the max you can go.
Well, they've only got 60 laps left this time through. Cabot inherits the lead, but just over Michael Curhan and Scioli. So a 3-way battle here. Nichols is 3 seconds back, but with pressure tires on all 3 of these guys.
Yeah, the only thing is his tires only about 2 laps fresher than Adam Cabot, so it'll be interesting to see the tussle between those two if they meet. But even though the Cabot has the advantage, Curran and Scioli are coming up to his rear bumper. That being said, I think Cabot maybe learned from early in the run, going to follow what Kwame Scott did, and just kind of back off, lay things off a little bit, because they got a long ways to go. 60 laps to carry these tires.
Not to mention Emerson Arden in the lap car in front of these 3, so going to want to take it easy and not push the envelope too much as Curran looks to take over as race leader, closing in on Adam Cabot.
Good battle formulating here between these drivers at the moment.
Another battle starting to heat up for 5th place. Seth Knoll, Cameron Hearn, Matthew Morton all in a small little group. Throw Jonathan Oates into the battle as well, as Morton will get a run on the floor of Hearn.
Inside of Hearn, heading into 1, going to slide right alongside the 4. Hearn going to power on that outside lane, going to be real tight in the middle of 2. They touch. Hearn going to get the run off, and here comes Jonathan Oates. Oh my gosh, we just went back in time.
Just a little bit, why not? 143 laps in, here's the battle for 6th place between the 18 and the 4. Really is not a lot of buttons on this theme, I'll tell you that though.
There's really not. We made it simple as a throwback, and it boy is simple. how graphics have come a long way.
Don't mind the yellow flag part. We're not under yellow yet.
There we go.
Yeah, a little leak of the script, Kyle?
Well, no, these aren't automated on this version, so it's real old school. It's all manual toggles. I'm surprised I don't have to write the numbers on a chalkboard.
Well, Cameron Ernst just backed out of the battle with Jonathan Oates trying to let them on through, but looking at James Scally trying to set his sights on Adam Cabot.
Well, Jake Nichols has his eyes set on the top three. He ran a half-second quicker that last time by, as behind him, Matthew Morton looking to complete the pass on Seth Knoll for fifth for good, trying to drive away on turn 4.
Here comes Kwame Scott, charging up. He's got the freshest tires of anybody in the field. At least that's in the conversation here. And he's got to pace himself because his advantage is tire. If he uses them all up, Finian, it's not going to go his way. He's got to be careful not to burn them up.
Well, you can argue he did one of the best jobs of pacing and forced really a lot of the people in behind him to start pacing, because then he came back up and attacked Matheson. And Nichols, as there's contact up ahead with the 45-1, they're 3 wide, but the caution's out.
Oh my gosh, the C's parted through for Kwame Scott, and the
Connor
yellow
Kresick
came out for Connor O'Kresick in turn 4. Told you leaked the script a little too soon, Kyle.
Yeah, I guess so. Connor O'Kresick is around, and let's see what happened to him to get himself put in this position. Brings out, I think, is that our 3rd yellow of the night?
Yes.
And was it the 11 of Groner, maybe? The 33 goes up the hill. And there's the 11. Simple spin, puts 14 in the wall. And it will bring out our 3rd yellow of the night.
Not sure, maybe O'Kresick was checking up for the 33 in case he bounced off the wall into him. And the 11 just wasn't expecting it. That's the only thing I can think of. But be interesting what race control views this as.
Yeah, let's go back one more time. I want to watch on board with the 11 and just kind of see his perspective of things. If the 14 just suddenly checks up. Yeah, kind of does, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, you kind of have to anticipate that. You know, he's going side by side in a tight corner, and race control feeling that was only 11, so plus 2 points, penalty points for him. So that's going to be an EOL for next week. But
that's tough.
Pit stops underway, and everyone back down again.
This is terrible for Kwame Scott. I mean, this is not what he needed, because he was hoping that this race would run green and he'd use his tire advantage. Works out fantastic for Adam Cabot, all that track position he gained.
That is, I just wonder though if Cabot's got the raw speed to keep that car up there. We'll have to see what he can do.
Interesting strategy, guys. The 54 has stayed on the racetrack. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's a terrible decision. They've only run 12 laps. He's going to be at a disadvantage, but, you know, I don't think it's the worst call, especially because he's running in 16th. So he would have, if he came in, he would have been put right back there.
All right, so the top 5 cars that came out of pit lane, Skyley, Oates, Scott, Knoll, and Springer, took 2 tires. Cabot and Curhan took 4. They come out 7th and 8th. Then Matthew Morton took 2, and then everybody else took 4 other than Ed Robertson. So there's a lot of mixed strategy here.
Looks like Matheson is coming back down.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know why he faked it out. He looked like he was thinking of coming down the first time, and then he's like, nope, see you guys. And now he's back there. Let's playing some kind of 4D chess. It's something that he knows something we don't.
I exist in 3D, and I can't figure it out, so. Well, in the meantime, while we've got this yellow flag, we'll get some more things out of the way. Make sure you add some life to the party this summer with Elite Entertainment, running out of summer, by the way. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, Elite Entertainment provides high quality and fan production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, and more. Visit Linktree/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact info. And check out the High Banks podcast. Just 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 205 with Brad Slaughter and the new episode with Jacob Bell, out now, available on Spotify. Guys, 50 laps to go next time by the stripe, and we've only seen 3 cautions. Hunter, is it time for the chaos to start?
Well, the chaos has been going from lap 1. We just haven't had that many wrecks, cautions. This is only our 3rd yellow of the night, but we're in the last quarter of the race, Kyle, so everything's off limits. You're going to do what you can do to get up to the front. No more waiting. You got to use your chrome horn while you can.
Finian?
Yeah, I mean, I think for these drivers, it's just a matter of, it's going to be a sprint from here to the end. So you're going to have to kind of push and push. That being said, though, I think with everyone now kind of switching from more of the endurance mindset to the sprint mindset, might end up seeing some more cautions come out as a result. So I'm wondering if that's going to change the way these guys attack these final 50 laps.
All right, let's see how our picks are doing. Mine just sacrificed his own race because he doesn't think I should have a chance at winning the commentator championship. Finian, your pick was the 24. He's 7th. And Hunter, you had the 7?
73.
73. Well, he is running 8th, so you guys are neck and neck. And my pick, like at Daytona, is not servicing me very well tonight. But we were doing well for a little while.
Yeah, you were doing well, and then, I mean, hey, you never know. There's still 50 laps. A lot can happen. He can come back.
Let's hope we didn't go get the milk. Pace truck. Interesting to note we have a pace truck tonight versus the 2024
Sedan
model. Here we go. Out of turn 4, 49 laps left. Scioli is the race leader. He restarts on driver's right. A lot of single file cars at the back there, and a lot of drivers out. 36 on back, retired. Green flag, we're back underway.
Decent run for James Scully, one of the first decent restarts he's had all night. Ahead of Seth Knoll, Oates, and then Adam Cabot back in 4th, trying to get a run, and Jonathan Oates will get past him for 3rd.
Springer made a move to the outside to get in that lane and ride the wave, and car on the wall back there. David Weissar getting really close to the 3 and 4 wall, and Scioli trying to drive away from it.
How they came out of that in one piece, it looked like there was 3 or 4 cars going in the fence with some smoke flying. Scioli leads over Knoll, over Cabot, over Scott and Oates. Everywhere else, a little bit of double file just outside the top 20.
Cameron Hearn's going to get back up to a higher spot as Drew makes a 3-line move to the inside, and there's the 54 of Matheson also trying to move up some spots.
Well, looking to work his way back through with 4 fresh tires to the outside of Ed Robertson, kind of close on corner exit, but he's going to move by for 23rd.
Well, the one thing that he was able to do, because he pit the second time around, is he was able to see what everyone else did. So he took 4 tires when most of the top 5 only took 2. Maybe that's advantageous later, but he's got a lot of cars to pass before that will be in effect. Here's Cabot and Seth Knoll for 2nd.
Side by side for them. Cabot trying to make those 4 tires work on the bottom, get that extra rotation, that grip. Kwame Scott, huge shove to the back of Seth Knoll to push him up to 2nd place.
Not making it easy for the 07 of Cabot's going to try and sneak alongside and take 3rd away from Kwame Scott. Going to be real tight here, keeping it straight down the back. Here comes Jonathan Oates with a push to the 07. Going to tuck back in line heading into 3.
Been a really good night for Jonathan Oates, hasn't it? He has been in the conversation the entire evening. I think anything other than a top 5 would be a disappointment based on the speed he's shown.
There's Nichols making a move to the inside of Ricky Springer. He will clear him into turn 1. And here's another move. Michael Curran trying to make a move on Springer, but has to back out.
And looking back at Oates' spin, turn 2. The 81 back service.
Oh, a couple cars. Drujua and Cameron Hearn.
There's a bumper flying there, too.
Cameron Hearn's bumper, and man, he I don't know what it is. I keep saying in every race, you could probably make a compilation of it out at this point, but Cameron Hearn just had more and more rotten luck this season.
I think it was in trail of the 81, and a little bit of contact there, and then they just all stack in there.
Oh, and then a hard hit there.
I think Jewett got away with most of the drama.
81's coming down on corner exit of turn 2 and just right across the nose of the 4, and then Matheson, Jujua, and Robertson checking up. Bailey Turner, great wreck avoidance from him.
Yeah.
I think for the bumper on the 4, it came off because he tags the corner of the 13. It just shears the clips off. And then he goes down the racetrack. Man, Bailey Turner narrowly missed that. Let's ride on board with him in the 25. The spin starts slow. Oh boy, he got on the brakes about as hard as he could.
Thought he should have gone left and decided last thing to go right. And Drew Jua actually himself being spun, he did a great job of minimizing the hit to the wall. He's just down there getting some repairs, and Matheson is back down here again. And I don't know.
Well, he had some damage from that. He got rear-ended and maybe some front-end damage as well. But
oh yes, he did.
Yeah, that's the price you pay when you pit after everyone else pits, and unfortunately was caught up in that. It was right around where that occurred, but got a bunch of everyone back up, and really the 4 tires hasn't quite worked out yet for Adam Cabot. We only had a few laps to run it, but the front 3 still on 2 tires in front of those 7, and then Jake Nichols moved his way up to 6th.
James Scioli revving the living daylights out of this 7 car. And the only reason I could think to do this would be to burn off excess fuel, Finian, but I can't imagine that would be much of a difference maker in this.
I mean, it isn't, but less fuel is less weight, so faster car. Not much, but still faster car.
You must just be getting bored, I'd imagine. I wanted to go back.
There's not much else to do on a piece of that.
That's true. I want to go back and talk about the 45 here for a second because I was so rudely interrupted by the crash out of turn 2. This 45, maybe it shouldn't be a surprise he's running so well. He had a rocky start to the season. Because he missed a couple of rounds, but when he went to Texas, it was a 17th. At Charlotte, he was on pole, but finished 40th there. But since then, 7th, 9th, and 5th. So he's got 3 consecutive top 10 finishes, and his first top 5 last week. So maybe it's no surprise that he is creeping into the mixture here. And if he gets a win with these finishes he's racking up, he could be a threat for the championship.
Yeah, it really could be. The biggest thing's kind of holding him back was missing out at Daytona and Pocono. But other than that, when he's come to show, especially in his recent form, he's always had that car inside the top 10, and here he is inside the top 5. He's had 1 top 5 this season, the first coming at last week at North Wilkesboro. So yeah, this 45 car is looking pretty good. Points-wise, he's either going to have to get some really, really good finishes if he wants a shot to get into the playoffs, or win, which not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
And then for the 1, you see some damage there, or sorry, the 7 on the right front, a little bit of damage from some wall contact. His season, he missed Pocono, but sort of a similar story to the 54 Finian, hot or cold. He's got 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s, but the other finishes are a 23rd, a 28th, and a 14th. So he'd like to right the ship here. He's been on pole twice this season at Sonoma and at Texas. And well, you could add tonight to that list.
He definitely can, and running really well. Let's see if he can execute. He's got his teammate off to his outside, and then 2 enemies arguably behind him, Kwame Scott, Adam Cabot. I would argue anyone in the top 5 or 6 has really got a solid shot at winning this race. But we'll see here coming to the restart. Just about 40 to go.
If we keep getting these short stints, the guys with 2 tires, they're still going to be in the run. But if we get a longer stint, like say 20 laps or so, I think we're going to see some of the drivers that took 4 tires move up to the front, like Cabot, Nichols, and not to mention Curran, Peyton Howell, and Philip Groner inside the top 10 as well.
I do think 4 tires was the call on that last pit stop. We'll see if they get a chance to show it off, or if we'll get some more yellows that might make that 2-tire call look pretty smart. 40 laps left on this restart. Scioli is your leader on the inside. We're back underway at the track 2 Tough to Tame.
Solid jump for the number 7, up ahead of Noel. And Cabot and Kwame Scott are side by side for 3rd. Scott trying to bully him out of the position. Here comes Nichols with the charge. Almost made it middle 3 wide, but had to back off because there's no room to go.
Well, here comes the 73 to the inside. Oh, it's going to scrape the wall in 3 and 4. Kwame Scott going to slide up, and now side by side, the 2 guys with the freshest tires in the field, Cabot and Nichols, down the front stretch and into 1.
Yeah, Cabot really like to stay ahead of the 73 and control this as the lead driver on 4 fresh tires. I don't think you want to let that 73 get ahead and make that space for you. You know he's quicker and raw pace, at least in the short term. Did give up some of that speed in the long green flag run of the night, Finian, but it came after so long that I think his pace now would win him this race.
Well, I definitely think it can. It doesn't matter if he can keep the momentum going forward. Kwame Scott all over the back of Seth Knoll. And further on back, that's also from Drew Drew. They're battling with, I believe it's 70 paint.
Seth
It's a
Berger.
77 that's Seth Berger.
77.
And the inside of the
quarters.
top 10.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Not-
Oh, really?
Not the
It
camera I
really
was
zoomed
looking
out.
for. That's my wacky widescreen FOV.
Probably what it feels like to be inside one of those things now. It's just, oh my gosh. So tense inside, especially for Michael Curran, trying to repeat as champion, but got to keep the momentum rolling in the right direction. Running 7th right now, but he's got Ricky Springer closing in.
If you've ever sat in a real Chevy Camaro, the view feels a lot like that. You can't see anything. I've been in nuclear submarines that have better forward visibility than a Camaro does.
And speaking of forward visibility, Nichols, he's trying to go forward around the outside of Adam Cabot. Cabot will back off and yield 4th place to the 73.
I don't think that's ideal. Oh, he's in the wall. He's in the wall big time. Here comes Oates. Where to go? To the bottom.
Gonna look to the inside, maybe try to get the side draft, slow him down on the quarter panel, but he can't quite get that run there. So it looks like Cabot will stop the bleeding there at 5th.
Gonna plug up the hole behind him as Groner looks to the inside of Springer off 4. He's gonna tuck back in line. Peyton Howell's at 10th spot, but gap started to form between the 73 and the 07.
Kwame Scott all over the back of Seth Knoll here for 2nd place. And he's moving right now. He's got 2 tires. The next cars behind him have 4. If you want track position, you better get it now.
He's trying to push up, got a decent run off of turn 4, gets a little bit of slipstream down the straightaway, and then tries to make a move, looks to the inside of the 1, but couldn't quite get there. And meanwhile, side by side, there's a 24 Michael Curran to the inside of Ricky Springer. He has to back off mid-corner. Philip Groner going to try to work on the outside. He actually backs out as well.
Oh my gosh, slicing and dicing down the backstretch there. Groner now to the inside of Curran, trying to stop the bleeding.
Battle for second. Kwame Scott, Seth Knoll side by side off of turn 4. They're going to door each other down the front straightaway just a little bit. 36 is going to come back up on the 1. Does he dive down low in turn 1? He doesn't. He keeps him side by side though. Contact again mid-corner.
Well, that got really scary there for the 73. Backed off of that. Knoll holds on to 2nd though. And now Nichols going to try and work his way around Kwame Scott, but he's still close on the bumper of Knoll.
Yeah, Jake Nichols, you're right. He had a moment there where I'm not sure he thought he'd come out the other side of turn 2. It's one of those places like Bristol where if a crash happens ahead of you, you don't really get time to think about it. You're in it or you're not. Watch the 36, look to the inside of Knoll, can't do it. Running out of laps, guys, 30 to go in 2 laps, so they're going to click away fast.
They're going to click away really quickly here, especially at the rate we're going at. Over 10 laps or so into the run. 20 laps into the run. Seth Knoll breaking away. Sorry, Skyley breaking away about half a second, and it's Colson behind him. Kwame Scott still going to make him a run. Jake Nichols still in the running of it. Cabot, though, he's kind of fallen off, and now he's under attack from Oates and Springer.
Yeah, gap of about 9 car lengths, maybe a second between the 73 and the 07. The 2 guys on 4 tires, and 9-day difference, at least for the time being, with Cabot starting a conga line from 5th on back.
I think the 07 saving something. 3/10 off last time by, and he wasn't in defense. I think that 07 is saving some tire. He's watching Jake Nichols go up there and battle those front 3, hoping it'll burn off some of the rubber and have a shot at the end. And he's doing what we saw, I think, was it the Kwame Scott do that first run where he laid everyone back, held everyone in that conga line, and then they'll make their late race charge. But this is a careful consideration. How much can you hold back and still have time to run down those front drivers?
Oh, Jonathan Oates in the wall, trying to make a move on Adam Cabot's going to open the door for Springer in behind and cause more of a checkup. But just look at how tidy everyone is, close together, bumper to bumper, in behind the 07 of Cabot.
And meanwhile, further on back, Weissart keeps smacking the outside wall. He's falling back quite a bit.
Yeah, once you do it, you can't bottle it up again. It'll just keep happening to you. I think these guys would be wise to kind of just click off laps here behind Cabot, save some tire. I think they'll all move forward together, especially with how fiercely this battle for second is brewing. I think Scioli's got an okay place, kind of pacing himself. But one of the reasons I think Cabot is saving is he's running so consistently, Finney, in 29.4s the last 3 or 4 laps. That tells me that it's not pace related. He is quietly hanging out back there. Here comes Kwame Scott for second on the inside of Seth Knoll.
Yeah, these guys have been fighting really hard here for second place. Noel, Scott, and Nichols. Oh, and door-to-door contact again with Noel and Scott. Scott goes flying to the inside. He will save it, but will lose out a spot to Jake Nichols. He falls back to fourth.
So Solar Flare 1, 2, 3 on the board, but where will they end up at the end of this one? Skyoli, 9 car lengths have an advantage over Seth Knoll. Jake Nichols trying to come through, get around him, and see if he can close the gap on Skyoli, which, by the way, his best finish at this track is 7th, and oddly enough, including tonight, Kyle, he's won the pole every single time we've been here.
Interesting. Adam Cabot, last time by, ran a 29.3. He is matching the pace of Skyoli now in that 0.7. 25 laps to go next time by. Maybe he's starting to light the wick here and burn that candle down. That non-renewable resource of those Goodyear tires he put on for the last pit stop.
Yeah, the thing is you can't wait on those tires too long. You have to start pushing a little bit early to try to make up spots, especially when you got 3 more cars to get through to get up to the leader, and 3 really quick drivers up ahead of him before, not even including Skyoli.
Oh, Bailey Turner had a moment off turn 4, almost spun out, and he was with Connor Horn as well. Jake Matheson behind this as he scrapes the wall in 1 and 2.
Really need this 54 to gain some spots, sent to chase Finian down in these standings sooner or later.
You need to pick better drivers.
I had it going for a little while, but I just couldn't quite parlay it. I think it beat you like 3 or 4 weeks, but I didn't have the point differential to catch you.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
you have more wins than me.
I do. We need to have a commentator playoffs. Get seated higher than you, and then maybe we'll do something with that. For those of you that don't know, Michael Curran tracks the stats of our commentator picks week in and week out. Finian is winning. I'm second, and Hunter is third. Is a little bit of argy-bargy back here.
I'm doing it for Dale.
Yeah.
Michael Curran now starting to build a little bit of a train of cars behind him. Pete and Howell, Grono, Silver, and Bell. Further back, there's Everett Sherry Jr. making a dive on David Weiss, who had drawn back quite a few spots in the beginning part of this run. He's kind of hanging out there on 20th, and catch a bit of the wall as Sherry Jr. goes by, and Douglas Dubicki will follow through.
And from what I'm seeing, that's about the 5th time he's done that. Most of it's been off of turn 4, which now we see Skyoli only 6 car lengths in front of Jake Nichols in the 73. Seth Knoll in 3rd. Kwame Scott with Adam Cabot closing in behind in the 07.
And look at the lap times. Cabot was the quickest of the top 5 last time by. I think there was some method to the madness there.
Well, that was a good time to actually try to crack at them as he makes a big dive on the 36 and 3, almost unexpectedly so. Is that now the top 4 kind of separate out a little bit, so you can kind of try to pick them off more 1 by 1 instead of fighting them in a bigger group. Gets a decent run down the front straightaway with the side draft. I don't think there's enough car to throw it, and 36 of Kwame Scott will try to power around the outside.
They're probably going to make it out of turn 2 as the 07 is going to try and tuck back in line. Jonathan Oates with a strong run to the inside. Saw that coming. That's for 5th heading into turn 3. Ricky Springer watching this unfold in front of him.
This is not what Cabot needs. He needed to dispatch the 36 quickly. And now he's on the outside, so he should be able to defend from the 45, but he just didn't need this set of laps here. As now the 51 and 45 will argue about a spot. Nope, they will not. Ricky Springer's in the wall. Oates is going to hang on the quarter panel of the 07. And just enough to keep overlap, and Cabot throws the block.
Big block on the 45 to keep him at bay. Meanwhile, up at the front, Nicholas has caught up to Skyoli.
Yeah, 2 car lengths separating the front 2 teammates as well, all inside the top 3 for the time being. As Adam Cabot running out of time to get around Kwame Scott.
Oh, there he goes. That's an opportunity. The 36 is in the wall, but Cabot wasn't ready to pounce.
He blocked to the 36 to keep him at bay and prevent him from getting a run. In order for him to go, but at the end of 36, the car's starting to get tight. Here comes Cabot, another move to the inside in 3 and 4. And it's just a matter of getting a run off the corner here, using the side draft to slow him down, but I don't think he can't. But he did open up the door for the 45 on the outside now.
Yeah, he'll send it into turn 1 again. He's going to have to try and fit in between the 2, and he will do just that. Jonathan Oates with a little wiggle there. Meanwhile, Jake Nichols really on the bumper of Skyoli for the race lead.
Into turns 3 and 4, 17 laps to go next time by. Cabot is as quick as the leaders, even fighting the 36. I think he's got a chance to win this race if he can get by the 36 car. I think Nichols and Scioli are pretty evenly matched at the moment.
Yeah, the big thing is that if he can get around, he's starting to really run out of laps here with just about 15 or 17 laps to go. He gets one more run, but just in behind him, nothing he can do. Nichols, though, actually has a look. So does Cabot have a look on the inside of Kwame Scott?
Cabot's through. Nichols is not.
But he had a really solid look to the inside of the 700.
Yeah, he had a pretty good look, and back here, right outside the top 10, Matthew Bell, Blaze McKinney, Jake Matheson starting to close back inside the top 10, running the 13th, starting to slice and dice. Connor Horn also up into the 14th.
Got a little wall impact there for Matheson. He's salvaging something out of the night. Could be a top 10 if he keeps this up. A lot of cars ahead of him are on 4 tires, though, so he won't have a huge advantage as he gets trapped behind McKinney.
I was going to see trapped behind the Dale Earnhardts. Jonathan Oates died to the inside of Kwame Scott. Ooh, some contact there. Almost gets sideways with the left rear quarter panel contact.
Kwame Ryan Newman Scott tonight, huh? Gosh. Doing a great job defending. It's just, you can tell how frustrated the drivers are getting. And look at this. Top 3 battling, and here comes Cabot, guys.
Top 4. Yeah, something's got to give because the 7, 73, the 1, they're all closing in, and then the 07's just reeling them all in. Nichols going to look for the lead heading into 1.
This is a critical time for Nichols here because I think the 07 is the fastest of all of them. Remember, he saved a little extra tire. Maybe he used it up getting back by Kwame Scott, but I don't think Scioli is the fastest car in this train.
Yeah, the thing is, he's also fighting, remember, 3 teammates here. So they're going to, I imagine, they probably can't agree who's going to win the race, but they definitely want it to be at least one of the 3, not Adam Cabot. So we're going to see Seth Noel potentially trying to play rear gunner here and at least hold it off, maybe for his teammates to maybe sort it out amongst themselves.
And heading into 1 and 2, the 7 still leads. Cabot all over the bumper, and Noel for the 3rd spot, but he wants to get up past that 7 of Scioli. Got to go through the first line of the fence from Solar Flare Racing.
Well, the 1, that's a really big lunge for Cabot. The 1 doesn't need the wins. Look at the 07 cross over onto the apron, Phinia, but not enough of a run.
Yeah, it's a poor place to make that move there because you just kill your momentum on the front straightaway. Meanwhile, Nichols, a little bit of door-to-door contact with Scioli, throws it to the inside on the apron, slides up in front of the 7, secures the lead.
Now the 7-3 is going to try and drive away from the mess behind him. Kyle, he's looking to become the first 3-time Area Southern 500 champion.
Yeah, that was a critical pass.
Cabot going to almost steamroll over Noel, hits him in the quarter panel, hits him on the side.
Time to go.
Trying to muscle his way on through.
Time to go, but he didn't clear him. And now he'll have to race him again off into 1 and 2.
Like self-clear him here. They're starting to really get some contact here. He wants to muscle his way around the 1, throws it into 1. He will save it. Noel trying to fight back on the inside.
Side by side, bottom corner exit for Cabot. What a run he had, but now he's got to get past the 7 of Scioli. And here comes Kwame Scott with a look to the inside.
Might be too little too late for Cabot, but Kwame Scott wants a helping his seconds from the Burger King car through 3 and 4. Jonathan Oates is right behind him out of turn 4.
I think if anything, Cabot might still definitely have something for second place. The lead still yet to be determined here as we tick to 10 laps to go.
Through 1 and 2 again. Kwame Scott holding on the 5th. Jonathan Oates looking to salvage a top 5 finish.
Cabot in the wall.
Oh, that's not what Cabot needed to happen. Running in the 3rd spot, and here comes Noel again to the inside, just trying to get a run.
Oates and Scott door to door for 5th place.
Ooh,
big wiggle.
Oates caught the apron and caught the seam mainly, and I think that set the car sideways, so he's loose. Has to try to build that back up. Meanwhile, Adam Cabot trying to see if he can get past Scioli. Seth Noel to his rear bumper, and I'm sure Noel was not too thrilled on the way Adam Cabot got around him.
No, but I think it was too little too late, like I said, is Cabot might have a run here on the 7, but Nichols should be on equal tires to the 07. I don't really see how.
Cabot.
Oh my gosh! And a big lunge. Now that was elbows out there for Cabot. He is not playing around anymore.
He sees it in his sights. He can get a win if he can just push hard enough. Gonna almost pretty much put the 7 in the wall trying to do so. Well, now he's got free reins to try to catch the 73, but the big question is now that the 73's got clean air to work with, will he be able to drive off into the night?
Well, it's half a second between the 73 and the 07. Less than 8 laps to go. It'll be 7 this time when they get to the stripe. Jake Nichols starting to get a little bit worrisome in the mirror because Cabot's closed the gap down to 4 car lengths.
Well, let's keep our eyes on that number just underneath the LDR, the leader stance there. Will it grow? Will it shrink? Cabot used up all of his brownie points from previous events. If he had raced the 1 and the 7 cleanly, it doesn't matter anymore. He absolutely got his elbows out. They will not appreciate that, but that's racing at a track like this. Sometimes you got to get your elbows out. You're surrounded by Solar Flare teammates. Sometimes you got to take the risk. How about risk from the 45?
Well, I guess he figured he had a fast enough car, well, even if he couldn't muscle his way around, he can at least drive away before they can do anything else. The 45 and 36 make contact off of turn 4, and this is very still undecided for the top 5. Oh, it's almost going to dump the 36, almost hits him in the quarter panel.
Trying to get alongside of him, and they're going to touch in turn 2. Going to be tight on exit.
Watch Ricky Springer in the 51. Does he stay up top or does he go for the 3 wide? He'll stay in the back. Oates launches it like SpaceX into turn 3, and he's almost in the fence, scraping, sparks flying. Here comes the 36 to Scott back on exit, but no run.
That was a great move by the 45. He just kept it off the wall to make the corner, and he'll secure the spot inside the top 5 for him. Meanwhile, Cabot, he's closing in on Nichols.
We've seen what he can do to work his way in the second.
Oh, boy.
Will he do the same to Jake Nichols? He did it to James Scally already. He's got to get past the 3rd line of defense for Solar Flare Racing, and it's Jake Nichols in the 73.
Well, the rules of engagement from Cabot's side are on display. Nichols will know what's happened to the teammates, but he's got a big run. He's going to look to the inside. No, he's going to wait on it. Gives the 73 a shot into turn 1. Battle for 3rd behind them is getting fierce between a couple of teammates, and here comes Kwame Scott as well. Oh, their 45's to the 7.
Oh, there's no love lost between a lot of the guys here.
Oh.
Meanwhile, for the lead, side by side, here we go. Nichols going to trace him down to the inside. Cabot going to try to lunge it into turn 3.
Cabot sends it deep for the lead. Nichols in the wall. He pounds the wall. Here he comes on corner exit to the inside of the 07. They're going to be side by side for the lead down the front stretch. Cabot trying to clear. He can't get it. Nichols with a run to the inside in the 1.
It is absolutely elbows out here at the front. 3 laps to go, and Cabot clears the 73. Elbows out. Rib cages banging on each other, but Cabot comes out on top, and he's got 2 laps left and a gap to work with.
And you can see why he was so aggressive in getting past the 1 and the 7. He knew he had a race-winning car, and boy, did he prove it. He's got 2 more laps to hold on.
Oh, they will not be happy about that, Hunter, will they? The 07 got the elbows out a couple of times, but he is the faster car right now, and he's got a half a second of gap, but it's growing.
And the 73 hitting the wall didn't help as well. And in the meantime, James Scioli in that little kerfluffle, he fell all the way down to 10th after that with Jonathan Oates and Kwame Scott. So Scioli still trying to salvage a top 10 from this, but Adam Cabot looking to make 1 more lap around Darlington to get his first win of the season.
There's still lots of drivers throwing Hail Marys in here. The 42, the 87. Not clear until we get the white. There's the white. And Adam Cabot leads the way into turns 1 and 2. This season has just been catastrophic for Cabot when he hasn't finished in the top 10, which was only twice. This battle for 3rd is still fierce, but Adam Cabot tonight got the elbows out. It was a bump, it was a grind, but he is the one that's going to court the lady in black. Adam Cabot wins at Darlington and tames the track. Too tough to tame, and cars in the wall at the stripe.
Oh, 45 in the 1 make contact, and it'll be Oates over Knoll off into turn 1. How about that? That was a fantastic job, and I don't care what you can say. You can be mad at him, but it's hard to say that Adam Cabot did not earn that win. He went up there, drove it like he stole it. He did it fairly clean, all things considered, to take the win.
How about these finishes?
Thousands.
Wow. Celebration there from teammate Connor Horn. Adam Cabot has just had a rough go of it this year. Not tonight. If you want to win in area, sometimes you got to get aggressive.
I think the guy used that chrome horn at some point, and 07 did that. He sideswiped the 7 of Scioli. He did everything he could to get in the victory lane tonight.
I mean, the big thing, though, is he was aggressive, but he didn't wreck him. So I think that's really the big thing with Adam Cabot. He fought hard within the rules, and did what he had to do to get the W.
Watch this back. This is on lap 197 with 4 laps to go.
Did a great job of backing up turn 2, getting the run. He saw the 73 try to chase him down there. But Cabot had such a great run, used the side draft to his advantage, threw it down there, and then Nichols also sent it off too much.
That pass was very clean. It was the other two that I think will draw some strife. And then we saw the dramas at the end there with Seth Knoll and the 45 of Jonathan Oates. There's a big block on the back stretch.
Yeah, Jonathan Oates just door slams him down the front stretch, trying to get third at the line. And I mean, he got it, but he literally door slammed him off turn 4.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, because I think we saw Connor Horn get a penalty for that at at Daytona. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what the admins will rule that.
I don't know that it was worth it either.
Well, there is money on the line.
I know, but
there was money on the line for that. Actually, that is one thing we completely forgot to mention. That $100 in prizes going to the top 3.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Here's a look at your race results, and money will make you do some crazy things here. As we have a look at our Slinger Racing Graphics Southern 500 results here, Finian and Adam Cabot earned it tonight. Elbows out, clean pass for the lead though, and ultimately it got him the win.
I think that I got to say that's generally one of the best drives I've seen in a stock car in iRacing in a very long time. Him just getting up there, using the tires he had to his advantage, just muscling his way to the front in a fairly clean fashion, all things considered. A little bit aggressive, but fairly clean in my books. Jake Nichols asked to settle with second place with Oates in third. Seth Nolan, Kwame Scott fourth and fifth, and Ricky Springer, Michael Curran, Peyton Howe, Philip Croner, and James Scully. He's going to be very disappointed back in 10th.
You know, he hangs on for that top 10 finish, and almost was a top 10 finish for Jake Matheson. Connor Horn, he'll take a 12th place after the night he had. Matthew Moore and Blaze McKinney, Trey Eidson, top 15. And then Ed Shear Jr., Gary Grant, Connor O'Kresick, Bailey Turner, Reese Schaefer round out the top 20.
Yeah, close margins in there as well at the finish. Great racing in this mix. Same story from 21st down to 30th. Nick Silver, 21st. David Weishart knocked the wall down in 4 separate places, I think, tonight, but comes home with a 22nd. Max Service spun out in that incident, 26th. So then when you move on to this next page, Finney, this is where things start to unravel for some drivers tonight.
Yeah, really did. Travis Beckner, he's going to be really going to want to forget this night. Never was able to really get back on the lead lap. Remember, had that drive-through, and you just couldn't recover from that. It was never the free pass car, and the long runs killed him as well. Emerson Arden as well struggled. Matthew Bell, then he got into the drivers, ended up wrecking out of tonight. Mitchell, Cameron Hearn, Ryan Hartz, who ended up dropping his connection, Cardullo, Anderson, Gary, and Andrew Payne. And then took over the last 2 drivers, Brent Punkari, Ryan Swan, and Mason Kane, your 43 drivers.
Well, by 18 thousandths of a second, Jonathan Oates comes home in 3rd place. And we were talking about how much the elbows were out in the closing moments, Jonathan. Dollars on the line. You were right there after having such a good night. Take us through those last couple of laps and the run to the finish between you and Seth.
Go like hell, get everything you can. I mean, look, you couldn't pass any other way here tonight. I don't like the way I raced some of those guys at the end. I want to be cleaner than that, but at the end of the day, I don't know how else you're supposed to pass. I mean, you could see it all throughout the field when it came down to it. If guys weren't going to give up the spot, it got messy. It got rough. So yeah, I apologize to anyone I roughed up there in the last couple of laps, but you know, no one got wrecked, no harm, no foul. I'm happy to walk away with 3rd.
Well, certainly this has been a kind of a good stretch of races for you. I think this is now your 3rd consecutive top 10. And you continue to gain positions, actually 4th consecutive top 10, 7th, 9th, 5th, and 3rd, your most recent finishes. So when you look forward to rounds to come, do you think you've got race-winning pace at any of the upcoming tracks?
You know, I'd have to check the schedule. I can be a little inconsistent sometimes, but I'm very happy with how my pace has been the past couple weeks. Look, to be honest, I think I could have won tonight. I think I could have won last week at Wilkesboro. Yeah, I mean, I got unlucky at the start of the season. We hit some tracks that I'm not that good at, but yeah, these past 2 weeks, I think I could have won either one. And I like the tracks we're going to next, so that's the goal, right? The goal is to get that win, go to the playoffs, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm just going to keep trying my best.
Well, $20 richer, so buy yourself something nice. Jonathan, congratulations. 3rd place tonight in the Slinger Racing Graphics Southern 500.
Thank you.
And 2nd place tonight, Jake Nichols in the 73. Jake, tonight was a fun one to watch for sure. You led 91 laps, and between you and James Scioli, a lot of laps led by Solar Flare cars this evening. But just not quite enough at the end. The 07 was hauling through the field. We noticed him kind of saving some tire, and then he drove through your teammates, past them and into them at some stages, but it got aggressive at the end. Take us through that battle in the last 10 laps.
It's not much of a battle. Right front was dead. I don't know. It's just I wish it wasn't as tight as it was tonight. You really, like, I'm usually a guy that runs in 5th gear a lot here and just conserves, but that first run I ran 5th a lot and it was so bad tight. So then I just transitioned to 4th everywhere, and I think right then and there we made ourselves the best car on the track. We were really good. Maybe used a little bit too much brake on entry to 1, so it kind of made me a little tighter than it should have, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard racing at the end. I was so tight that I just tried to match him on entry and went straight into the fence, and I didn't necessarily want to bounce off the wall and try to pass him because of it, but it's hard to lift in that scenario too, you know. I wasn't going to go wreck him, but I don't know. You see what people do in desperate situations. I'm sure, I don't know how my teammates will look at it, because I'm sure they don't like getting used up, especially when the car behind them enters behind them in the corner and drives it so far deep that he just puts them in the fence. But we'll take it either way. I mean, it's a great team tonight. Congrats to them. Obviously I raced for 609, so it's good for them to get a win. I think Abbott's had a lot of tough luck, so or Adam Cabot. I'm so zoned out. I don't even know if I said his name the first time correct, but
I'm so zoned out I didn't notice. So
yeah, I don't even know. But either way, we'll take it. It's a shame that Seth didn't get third there. We could have got second and third again, but either way, it's a great team point night. We're just trying to pull away, and have that gap for the playoffs, just so we can risk it a little more, you know, and put ourselves in spots that might be hit or miss. But either way, it's a great night for us at Solar Flare, and congrats again to them at 609. And whew, that's a long one.
It was, and second place tonight for the number 73 Toyota. Jake, as always, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And Adam Cabot comes through and wins in the Slinger Racing Graphics Southern 500. You only led 13 laps, but you led critically the final 3. Adam, man, we saw you saving some tire there towards the end of the race, and then the charge through the field, as Finian put it, was one of the best drives we had seen in stock car racing here on Sim TV in the last couple of years. You were just not going to be denied tonight. Got the elbows out. Take us through that charge there in the last 30 or 40 laps.
Oh my God, it's about damn time I'm talking to you guys. The season has been a disaster. Like, this has been the worst season I've ever had in any league. And don't get me wrong, this is probably the most competitive league I've raced in, but just nothing has gone right. I've had to start in the back like every week through the penalty system. I don't think I've been driving like a terrorist. Maybe I was a little bit in the last 10 laps, but I mean, you know, every time I start in the back, I would just get caught up in wrecks, and I'm like, you know, it starts to eat away your confidence. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I don't have the speed to keep up with these guys. But tonight, you know, we had that long green flag run, and I realized, like, man, I am the fastest car by far. And, you know, there was a couple special tricks I had up my sleeve that I think really worked well tonight. And that caution came out, the end of the green flag run. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew there were going to be cautions at the end. And I made the decision to take 4 instead of 2. And I kind of thought I lost the race at that point. But I knew that if it stayed green, that I felt like 4 tires would be better than 2, and I knew I had good long run speed, so I knew I at least had a chance. And yeah, I mean, I truly was just not going to be denied at that point, because this league is so competitive. You don't ever know when you're going to have that kind of speed again, and I knew I was the fastest car, so I did what I had to do. It's so hard to pass here. I tried to be patient, but when you're patient, you just get stuck behind someone and burn up your tires. So just threw some sliders into 3 and had plenty of grip, and were able to make him stick. I think I only apologize to the 7 car. I think he was the only one that I really got into and put in the wall, which obviously was not what I was trying to do there. But then me and Jake, we had a really good battle there at the end. I mean, I could tell that, you know, his right front was cooked. So I knew if I just did what I needed to do, that I should be able to get by him. And then I was just saying a prayer to every single god that may or may not exist that the caution just would not come out before the white. And once I took the white, I knew we had it. But man, that was so much fun. That definitely the drive of my iRacing career, I think. I mean, I was locked in and aggressive, but you got to be aggressive. If you try to just take it easy, you're going to get used up and finish mid-pack in this league. So drove hard, probably pissed off some of the Solar Player guys, but we got the win.
I don't think anyone would deny that you had the fastest car there at the end, Adam. An incredible drive. And I don't know if this DirecTV-inspired livery ever won a race, but not at least on Clint Boyer's hands. But tonight it does. And congratulations, man. What a drive. It was super fun to watch. And playoffs now, Adam, as we head into the next part of the season here. You've got a lot less to worry about with Montreal, Chicagoland, Indianapolis, and Talladega. So does the approach shift with this confidence boost in the win this week?
100% it shifts, because I was going to have to be playing the point game, as I was P16 in points in the playoff hunt. But, anything can happen in these races, especially with Talladega coming up. Without a win, no matter how well the next two races went, I was going to be stressing for Talladega. So now I can just go for it. And, I feel like I have a little bit of that Ross Chastain effect, where if you try to pull me back a little bit, it really just, it doesn't work for me. And I end up getting caught up in more, ends up probably creating more problems than it solves. So, I appreciate that this league has a strict penalty system, as I think it keeps the races clean. But it definitely made things difficult for me early in the season. And now we can just go for it and try to get some more wins.
Now we can just go for it, he says. He went for it tonight and got it. Adam Cabot wins the Slinger Racing Graphics Southern 500. Congratulations, Adam.
Thank you so much, guys.
Well, that will wrap up the interviews tonight. And honestly, I was a little bit surprised. Maybe if we had talked to Seth Nolan and James Scioli, things would be a bit different, Finian. But Jake Nichols got raced fairly, I should say. And and Adam Cabot, man, the aggression was out. But as you pointed out, Finian, he didn't wreck him. He didn't spin him. He just rubbed him. And guys, rubbing is racing.
Yeah, that's what rubbing is racing, Austin Dillon. Not completely taking out your competitors. A little bit of a hit there, here and there doesn't hurt anyone. I think that's definitely all in the cards. But, hey, Race Control didn't say anything about it, so as far as I'm concerned, they're all good to go. So fantastic stuff from Darlington here. And, well, these guys, if they enjoy turning left for a little bit, they're going to go back to turning right, because next week we're heading to Montreal.
Well, we do have an off week in between for Labor Day, so for some guys it's going to be a much-needed off week to kind of regroup and refocus for the final few races in the regular season. But for others, it's going to be only their first of 2, maybe 3 trips for some to the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. Darlington Raceway, we're live tomorrow night for the Truck Series and Thursday night for the Pro Series.
Well, if it's anything like tonight, they are going to be a lot of fun to watch, and maybe some more tire wear and things of the sort. 200-lap race, longest race of the season, and I think the least yellows of any race we've had so far. 4 yellow flags tonight. Great racing from everyone, and a nail-biter, just like we've had in years past here at this race. It was a lot of fun to watch. Thanks for watching here tonight. For Hunter Slempe, Finney DeCuna, I'm Kyle Heyer. Thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow for the truck race right back here at Darlington Raceway.